Chapter 603. Brothers, the Zhao dynasty has been wiped out by the Night Spirit Church. This person should be a cultivator from the dynasty that survived. Who cares who he is? We served the Zhao dynasty in the past. Now that the empire has been destroyed, we should follow the Luo king and rebuild a faction. Since he's from the Zhao dynasty, why don't we kill him and snatch his treasures? Back then, the Zhao dynasty forced the Luo king to pay tribute every year, causing us to suffer. Let's wait for the Luo king to arrive first. The 7 of them held flying swords and released their quintessential energies. Sword Chi fused with the flying swords, emitting a destructive aura. They treated Su Fong as a minor figure and were discussing how to deal with him. The Zhao dynasty. Su Fong, who had remained silent all this while, happened to hear about the current situation in the Zhao dynasty from their conversation. Seeing that they were embarrassed and harboring ill intentions, Su Fong asked, "The Zhao dynasty. I heard that the Zhao dynasty back then was defeated by the Feather Emperor and the other experts from 8 places. I wonder if the Zhao dynasty you speak of is related to the former Zhao dynasty? It looks like he's not from the Zhao dynasty." "Kid, let me tell you." An extremely young cultivator pressed his flying sword on Su Fong's shoulder. More than a century ago, the Zhao dynasty that had been established for thousands of years was indeed destroyed by Emperor of Feathers and others. However, the Zhao family still had some strength left. Back then, Wisdom King raised the flag and used decades to establish the present Zhao dynasty. He once spread the word that the Zhao family's patriarch and other experts had only gone to the Crimson Firmament continent and would return to the Zhao dynasty. He easily roped in many factions, but unfortunately, they still ended up being destroyed. So, it's Wisdom King. Su Fong understood. He and his master, Yang Yizhen, who was also his father, Su Yao Tian, joined forces with many experts to storm the Zhao dynasty. After they killed the emperor, King Lang Jun, the Zhao dynasty only existed in name. However, one of the people in power was still alive. Vaguely, he slowly realized that that person was Duke Ming. After the Zhao dynasty was destroyed, Wisdom King established the Zhao dynasty. Su Fong looked at the young cultivator. What about Emperor of Feathers? The Feather Emperor returned to a remote territory called Tianzong City. After a short period of seclusion, he established the family Su dynasty. Because the Feather Emperor condensed the golden elixir and became a legendary giant, the Su dynasty gradually replaced the former Zhao kingdom and became the largest empire. The more the young cultivator spoke, the more spirited he became. However, he suddenly shook his head with a sigh. But this time, that night spirit sect suddenly appeared and plunged the Su dynasty, Zhao country and southern border into misery and suffering. I heard that even the Su dynasty was destroyed. Father's wish has finally been fulfilled. We've accomplished the mission of the clan to rebuild the dynasty. Father has fused with King Longjuan's golden core. When I left, he had already broken through to the heavenly fusion realm and condensed his golden core. With his golden core, given Father strength, he would definitely become a peerless expert in this territory. After a moment of silence, Su Fong asked the man anxiously, "You said that the Su dynasty was also destroyed by the Night Spirit cult?" Just as the man was about to speak, he was stopped by a fierce-looking expert. "Don't follow him anymore. Close? Cowardly? Arrogant? Shiqian? Strike? Bang. That's right. Otherwise, what if we encounter the Night Spirit cult?" The others agreed. "Kid, don't blame us. Who asked you to be a weakling? Even if you don't encounter us, you'll still die at the hands of the Night Spirit cult. Your outcome will be even worse." "Huh?" After saying that, the expert was about to attack with his sword. "The Luo King is here." One of them suddenly looked in the direction they had come from. "Don't kill him. Let's wait for the Luo King to deal with him." Another person stopped the expert and pressed his right arm down, causing his flying sword to hover in midair. Luo King. A king? Seeing the 7 cultivators being so respectful to the Luo King, Su Fong's curiosity was piqued. Whoosh! Whoosh! More than 10 cultivators flew over on their flying swords. "Luo King, Su Fong did not use his perfected abilities. The cultivators did not fly in midair either. They were probably hiding in the ruins to avoid the night spirit cult. However, Su Fong also saw the cultivators flying over. His gaze clearly landed on a cultivator in the middle. It was a woman. She had the highest cultivation level, nearing the Heaven Union realm. She was about to condense a golden core and was definitely the Luo King. When he looked at her face, Su Fong suddenly smiled. So I see. Swish, 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 swish. The cultivators flew out from the ruins a few hundred meters away. The woman leading the group shouted domineeringly from afar. The 7 bowed in welcome. Your Excellency, we have discovered a cultivator. We were unsure of how to deal with him, and we're about to kill him. Since the Luo King is here, we are waiting for you to deal with him. There are still cultivators alive. They are likely not experts from the Zhao dynasty. Once the Night Spirit cult attacks a faction, they will definitely not spare them. Kill them. The Luo King led a group of experts over on his flying sword. He did not pay attention to Su Fong and instead berated the 7 in front of everyone. When his gaze landed on Su Fong, the Luo King was suddenly taken aback. It was as though the others were no longer there. His eyes were only focused on the young man who had no aura. You, the Luo King, was shocked again. He stuttered and asked in disbelief, "When did you come back?" Su Fong bowed and said, "I didn't expect that the former expert of Tianmen province would become the king of a region. Luo Muxue, congratulations." The Luo King, Luo Muxue. It turned out that she was an expert of Tianmen province. After Su Fong entered Tianmen province, he accidentally met Crane Fairy. Bai Ling's master at that time was Luo Muxue. Later on, Luo Muxue secretly groomed Su Fong to work for the Wise King and deal with the King of Yu. 200 years. Tianmen province was gone. The Zhao dynasty, which had been established thousands of years ago, was also a thing of the past. However, Luo Muxue and Su Fong were still alive and well. Their appearances had not changed much from before. However, the two of them had more or less left some traces of time. Thank you. Thank you for letting go of my ignorant subordinates. Luo Muxue sighed and returned Su Fong's bow in front of everyone. The other experts were stunned. With the Luo King's strength, he was invincible in this territory. Yet he was so polite to a young man in his early 20s. More specifically, it was fear. Fortunately, they did not take action. Those who do not know are not to blame. I heard these people talking about the Zhao dynasty. I believe the Wise King you supported back, then replaced King Langjun and became the Zhao dynasty's emperor. As for you, it seems like you're no longer working for the Wise King. After the Wise King established the dynasty, he indulged in debauchery and even wanted to take me as his concubine. In a fit of anger, I left the Zhao dynasty with some experts and established a small faction far away. At least the Zhao dynasty could not do anything to me. As for your father, he did not target me. He only targeted the Zhao dynasty. However, I heard that you left the Zhao dynasty in recent years and went deep into the southern border. Rumor has it that you went to the most mysterious crimson firmament continent behind the dark forest. Back then, I experienced many dangers and was fortunate enough to reach the Crimson Firmament continent. By the way, where is the Lord of Tianmen province? I remember that he was still alive. Do you still remember the Tianmen's sacred emperor? Of course I remember. You should know that back then, I wanted to take revenge and deal with King Yu because they plotted against my father. The Elysium Prefecture's chief also had a part to play. How can I forget? Although my father later lived in peace, I won't easily forget this person. After Zhao country was destroyed, the sacred emperor of Sky Gate did not return to Sky Gate Prefecture. He brought some of his subordinates and hid in a territory, afraid that you would go and find him. After you left, the Ming king asked him to join the Zhao dynasty and be conferred the title of king. However, this person did not agree to the Ming king's request. After a few decades, this person suddenly disappeared without a trace. However, the strange thing is that after a period of time, someone saw him in Nanjiang again. Until now, there have been no confirmed reports of his disappearance. That means that the Tianmen sacred emperor is still alive and well. After hearing this, Su Fong suddenly fell silent. However, he immediately regained his composure and bowed to Luo Muxue again. Although you served the wise king back then and were the enemy of my family Su, there was no direct grudge between you and me and my family Su. In addition, you also took care of Sister Bai. I didn't expect to meet an old friend here. I will help you advance to the heavenly fusion realm and condense your golden core. This, Luo Muxue was completely dumbfounded. She wanted to advance from the vast core realm to condense her golden core and become a golden core expert. This was the motivation and goal she had persisted in until now. In the end, it had to be realized by Su Fong. Luo Muxue sighed at her fate. She clearly remembered that when Su Fong entered Tianmen province, he was still a mortal who needed to secretly learn martial arts through Bai Ling rebelling against Tianmen province, overthrowing the Zhao dynasty and killing the two emperors of the Zhao dynasty. He could also go to the legendary Crimson Firmament continent. Luo Muxue felt that everything was like a dream. Qi, an invisible aura, exploded around Luo Muxue, causing more than 20 ordinary cultivators around her to disappear without a trace. Where did they go? They were probably swept away by Su Fong to a very distant place. At least, they were not in the Zhao dynasty. Luo Muxue saw this scene and felt that she couldn't move for a while. She calmed down. You want to help me condense my golden core? How can I thank you? You don't have to thank me. Even if I repay you for taking care of Sister Bai, I also want to tell you that Sister Bai is now living well. She has become an existence that you can't imagine. You and I are fated. From Tianmen province to the Zhao dynasty, and now we can meet here. I will help you condense your golden core. Only with the golden core can you be considered a real cultivator. Su Fong, who was expressionless, shot out a stream of mana from his eyes and enveloped Luo Muxue's body. Papa! Her slender body trembled as if it was about to break. She was in so much pain that she couldn't open her eyes. She was forced to squeeze out drops of blood tears, but only lasted for 3 breaths. A stream of spiritual light shot into her body again, and the pain disappeared. Instead, her body began to emit a clear spiritual light, and a large amount of impurities surged out. Thank you. Luo Muxue sensed that a golden core had appeared in her lower abdomen. She was overjoyed and wanted to thank Su Fong, but when she looked up, there was no one in front of her. Su Fong had left at some point. I can't sense his cultivation at all. His aura is Su Fong. It seems that I will never be able to catch up to you in this lifetime. Luo Muxue was sad. There is indeed a cultivator. Suddenly, from the depths of the ruined city of the Zhao dynasty, several black-robed cultivators with astonishing evil aura flew over. They directly pounced on Luo Muxue. So it's the Night Spirit sect. You evil cult members have killed many of my subordinates. I used to hide from you, but today I will make you pay with your blood. Qi, Luo Muxue, who had become a heavenly fusion realm cultivator, had a golden core. In an instant, she formed a seal, and a shocking sword aura hundreds of meters long swayed on the evil cult members who pounced on her. One by one, they were instantly turned into dust. Luo Muxue, it's for the best. I still hope that one day, you can also enter the wider world of cultivation and have a look. 1,000 miles away, Su Fongda's perfected vision condensed from behind. He saw Luo Muxue killing the evil cult members and flying towards the imperial city of the Zhao dynasty. There was an additional comfort in his heart. Although cultivation was ruthless and one had to abandon the 7 emotions and 6 desires, in the end, one was not a big goblin, nor was one an animal. The root of love had been planted in one's heart. How could he give it up so easily? Purple Qi Mountain. I'll go directly to the Red Palm volcano. The Su dynasty also encountered the Night Spirit sect. Facing such a powerful enemy, Father will definitely lead his people to hide in the Red Palm volcano. He activated the instant space ring and seemed to see the burning Red Palm volcano as he traveled. It was extremely familiar, like a burning hand. Chapter 604. Red Palm Volcano. In his hazy vision, the instant space ring shuttled back and forth. Suddenly, the Red Palm Volcano appeared in front of Su Fong. After so many years, it felt like the first time he came here. It felt strange, yet familiar. Master, why you're back? His mind moved for a moment. Suddenly, a sandstorm swept up in the desert near the Red Palm Volcano. In the sandstorm, a Shatuan monster came out. When it saw Su Fong, it was extremely excited. A Shatuan monster. Back then, when Su Fong was being hunted and trapped in the desert, he used the Chaos Essence Sacred Realm to subdue the monster. Later on, it helped Su Fong overcome danger time and time again. Come here. In the sandstorm, the Shatuan monster trembled in fear and flew into the sky. After I left all these years, can you help me take care of my family? Su Fong immediately asked. Yes, yes, yes. The Shatuan monster nodded repeatedly. Very good. I will help you condense a spiritual pearl and give you the essence from other big goblin. This way, you will be able to transform into a human form in less than 100 years and become a very powerful big goblin. At least in southern border, you will be an invincible existence. Thank you, Master. The Shatuan monster turned over. When Su Fong injected the power of marrow cleansing and the essence of the big goblin, its monster body began to shatter and undergo marrow cleansing. Soon, a demonic chi spiritual light appeared in its lower abdomen. The spiritual pearl was successfully condensed. Su Fong also left a rune talisman for the Shatuan monster that contained the essence of the big goblin. There's movement. At this moment, dozens of cultivators suddenly flew out from the forest between the Red Palm Volcano and the desert. They stepped on flying swords and came over murderously. I have a spiritual pearl. I finally have a spiritual pearl. The Shatuan monster was extremely excited. Why is the Shatuan monster siding with an outsider? Most of the cultivators who flew over felt very strange when they saw the Shatuan monster obediently floating beside a young man. Among them, there was a sturdy and somewhat blessed middle-aged cultivator. He stepped on a flying sword, as if the flying sword could not bear his weight. When he shifted his gaze from the Shatuan monsters to Su Fong, he suddenly burst into tears. Su Fong, you're back. The fat middle-aged cultivator was originally the most dignified one among the cultivators, but when he saw Su Fong, he rushed over like a child. The other cultivators scratched their heads in confusion. Elder, what's wrong? Su Fong suddenly burst into laughter. He rushed forward and hugged the fat middle-aged man. Ha! Su Xiaolong, you little fatty, you actually grew into a big fatty. A lack of exercise. Su Xiaolong leaned on Su Fong's shoulder and cried. Why did you only come back? You've been gone for almost 200 years. If you hadn't come back, I wouldn't have closed my eyes even if I died. This bit of time is nothing to us cultivators. It's nothing to you. Look at me. Su Xiaolong suddenly let go of Su Fong and took a step back. After so many years, I've only reached the transcendent realm. My appearance has also changed. Look at you. You still look the same as when you left. You haven't changed at all. If I continue like this, I'll really be buried in the ground in a few decades. It's okay, I'm back. Su Fong felt very comfortable in his heart, very comfortable. Since the Celestial Bestowment Sect incident, this was the first time he laughed so happily. Su Xiaolong brought Su Fong to dozens of curious and shocked cultivators and introduced him in public. My family Su disciples, listen carefully. This is the genius that I've bullied since he was young. You usually think I'm bragging. Look, open your eyes wide and look. Who is he? A few of them should be Su clan cultivators. Su Xiaolong wiped the tears off his face, solemnly saying, This is my Su family's true genius. The one who joined hands with our patriarch to destroy Zhao country. The one who killed the Zhao country's emperor, Su Fong. You have to call him an elder. Wow, there was an uproar. Several family Su disciples were dumbstruck. The surrounding cultivators also felt as if they were struck by lightning. Su Fong. That was the person that everyone talked about and respected in the family Su. Everyone knew that without Su Fong, there was no family Su. His deeds had almost become a nursery rhyme. passed down from generation to generation in the family Su. As for the cultivators who weren't family Su, they couldn't believe that the person in front of them was the legendary peerless figure who changed this territory. Whoosh! At this moment, tens of thousands of cultivators flew over from the Red Palm volcano in the distance. They were densely packed. Su Xiaolong didn't need to introduce him. When he saw the smile on Su Fang's face, he clearly knew that he was a member of the family Su. Fanger! A voice with the majesty of a king exploded from the tens of thousands of people. Su Fang shed tears in the sky. Father, let's go. Su Xiaolong took Su Fang and flew over together. The tens of thousands of people sped up, led by the former Emperor of Feathers, Su Fang. Su Yaotian covered his face with a golden mask. Even so, Su Fang still knew his identity. There were many acquaintances behind him, such as the family Su's elder Su Junyan and Su Yin, as well as Su Dali, Su Kong, Su Yueyun, Su Yi, and others who had entered Tianmen province to cultivate. They were no longer the youths of the past. Each of them had the appearance of a middle-aged man, and some were even in their 60s. As for Su Junyan, he was white and gray. The former elder had now become an old man. They saw Su Fang coming with the wind, still full of vitality and in high spirits. The scene of them cultivating and experiencing together suddenly swept through their hearts. Everyone shed tears of excitement at this moment. Time flew. Although Su Fang's appearance hadn't changed, his youth had been taken away by the merciless passage of time like everyone else. In front of tens of thousands of people, Su Fang knelt in front of Su Yaotian. Father, I'm unfilial. I've only just returned. Please forgive me. My son, this is your home. Everyone here is your family. As a king, Su Yaotian's dignity was gone. Only endless fatherly love. After holding Su Fang up, he was filled with gratification. Good. I knew my son would come back one day. Good job, Fanger. Su Junyan also walked forward. Su Fang, Su Yin, Su Dali, Su Kong, Su Yueyun, Su Yi, and others also surrounded Su Fang and cried. This scene made the tens of thousands of cultivators feel that it was unreal. A group of middle-aged people, elders, and the most dignified people of the Su dynasty were crying in front of a young man. Come here, all of you come here. They then gathered their daughters and family members, as well as the Su family members behind them, and solemnly reintroduced Su Fang's identity. This immediately caused everyone to exclaim. Amidst the thunderous cheers, Su Fang became the only focus. He returned to the Red Palm volcano under the welcome of the crowd. To Su Fang, it felt like a lifetime had passed. Back then, at the Red Palm volcano, he and Dao Wuliang fought against the snake demon and snatched the fire snake fruit. The scene was still vivid in his mind. There were now more than 100,000 people living in the Red Palm volcano. Family Su only made up less than a third of them. Most of them were commoners and cultivators of the Su dynasty. There were originally many people in the Su dynasty, but when the night spirit cult attacked, Su Yaotian was also helpless. In the end, he did his best to save these people and settled them in the Red Palm volcano. Rather than taking them away, it was more like fleeing for their lives. Su Fang already knew without Su Yaotian describing the night spirit cult. He was the clearest about the methods of the night spirit cult. That night, family Su and the upper echelons of the Su dynasty held a banquet for Su Fang in the most spacious underground palace inside the volcano. Fang, your ability is amazing. Father's appearance actually recovered in an hour. Moreover, his golden core is almost at the peak, and he's about to break through to the heavenly fusion realm. At the front were the upper echelons of family Su. Su Yaotian and Su Fang sat together. He actually took off his golden mask, revealing his original handsome appearance of less than 40 years old. This was because Su Fang cleansed Su Yaotian's marrow at the first moment, using his essence blood to reconstruct his body, achieving the great ability to change his appearance. The terrifying appearance that was left behind by the torture back then finally took off the mask, restoring the face that Su Yaotian should have had back then. Therefore, Su Yaotian also drank with everyone. Su Fong could see that his happy smile was filled with inner satisfaction. Not only him, but also Su Junyan and the other family Su members. Everyone, today is a rare occasion for the return of my son. I have something to say again. Su Yaotian suddenly stood up. His kingly aura exploded, and the underground palace instantly quieted down. He raised his cup and said, "Back then, my son Su Fong lost his parents after I was forced to leave the family Su. He slowly grew up and experienced many hardships and difficulties that ordinary people couldn't imagine. Later on, he relied on his own 2 hands to cultivate in Tianmen province. He touched the gate of heaven and became a cultivator. He was the first mortal to reach Tianmen province and touch the gate of heaven with his own 2 hands. In Tianmen province, he relied on bitter cultivation and intelligence to become stronger step by step. He broke through countless dangers and became an expert. Everyone has heard of the events that happened in the future no less than 100 times, no less than 1,000 times, and no less than 1,000 times. But today, I'm very happy, and I want to tell everyone personally. My son Su Fong, in order to avenge me and the family Su Empire, entered Zhao alone and used the king of you to approach the Zhao Emperor step by step. He personally took the emperor's head, and not long after, he killed his way into the imperial city with experts from all directions. Under countless eyes, he took the head of Zhao's second emperor, King Langjun, and finally defeated Zhao. My son, Su Fong, completed the dying wish of the Su clan's patriarch and took revenge for the Su clan. As of now, my son has long since become an existence that no one can imagine. In the Crimson Nimbus continent, he has already become a great figure that everyone knows. He is no longer a puny gold core realm cultivator. In the country of Zhao, gold core realm cultivators are as numerous as the hairs on a cow. Father, that's enough. In his drunken state, Su Yaotian wanted to say all the heartfelt words that had been suppressed in his heart for countless years. But at this time, Su Fong stopped him. My son Su Fong. The wine cup in Su Yaotian's hand fell to the ground. He suddenly hugged Su Fong. He didn't say another word, but in front of everyone, he hugged Su Fong Da and cried. Was he drunk? He wasn't drunk. Su Fong understood and immediately had Su Junyan bring people to bring Su Yaotian out of the underground palace. Watching them leave, he suddenly made up his mind. Father, your son understands. I won't disappoint you again. In the future, I will definitely become the ruler of this world. Whether it is Prince Shui, the Xinyuan Empire, or the current realm lord Zhuotian, none of them will be able to stop me. Brother Su, do you still remember me? The hall became noisy once more. Su Yin, Su Dali, Su Kong, Su Yueyun, Su Yi, Su Xiaolong, and the others surrounded Su Fong. Everyone was talking about their childhood, especially the interesting stories of bullying Su Fong. A general-like middle-aged man suddenly came in front of Su Fong, holding a wine cup. Brother Luo, you're the first cultivator I met after leaving Tianzong City. How could I not remember you? Su Fong stood up and clinked glasses with the general under everyone's curiosity. This general was actually Luo Zhongyun, the expert that Su Fong met on the way to Tianmen province after encountering the Black Tortoise Spirit when he left Tianzong City. He was an expert from Nightmare Cave, one of the forces that controlled Tianmen province in the past. How could Su Fong not remember him? He drank a cup. I clearly remember Brother Luo's good intentions back then. Thank you. Luo Zhongyun wiped away his tears. Haha, you and I are fated. After Zhao was destroyed, when I returned to Nightmare Cave, there were very few people left. Coincidentally, the Su dynasty was established, so I joined the current emperor. Chapter 605. Nightmare Cave, Luo Zhongyun. When Su Fong went to Tianmen province, he passed by the Fishmouth River and was almost killed by the dragon turtle essence. Later, he met Luo Zhongyun. To Su Fong, Luo Zhongyun was the first true cultivator. Luo Zhongyun invited him to Nightmare Cave and sent him to Tianmen province. Su Fong did not forget this favor even when he was cultivating in Tianmen province. Fate. Perhaps it was as Luo Zhongyun said. Everything was fate. Su Fang met with Luo Zhongyun for a while and learned that he was now a great general of the Su dynasty. Although the dynasty only existed in name now, Luo Zhongyun still followed the family Su. Brother Luo, you really call Su Fang your brother? That's incredible. His name shook the world. Didn't I tell you guys that I knew Su Fang long ago? You guys didn't believe me. How can we not believe you? We'll follow Brother Luo for the rest of our lives. When Luo Zhongyun returned to the banquet, many cultivators surrounded him and toasted him. After the banquet ended, more than 10,000 family Su members gathered in the underground palace early the next morning. Su Yaotian, who had recovered his appearance, Su Junyan, Su Fang, and the others sat at the top. Su Yaotian shouted loudly. After the elders' discussion, we've decided to expand to the Crimson Firmament continent. Wow! The underground palace was instantly filled with excitement. The Crimson Firmament continent. Everyone had heard of that immortal-like existence. To everyone, the Crimson Firmament continent was a world of immortals. This territory is the birthplace of our Su family, so of course we won't give it up just like that. Immediately, my son will completely wipe out the Night Spirit Church in every corner of the continent and restore peace. We've also decided to give everyone the freedom to choose. Every single clansman can choose to go to the Crimson Firmament continent, but they also have the right to choose to stay. Those who stay will rebuild the Su dynasty in this territory and unify the entire continent, even the southern region. The Su family will take root here in the future. Su Yaotian raised his voice again. It's good to go to the Crimson Firmament continent, but staying here is not bad either. Rebuilding the Su dynasty is a long way and can't be done in a few years. I hope that everyone won't blindly go to the Crimson Firmament continent. The Night Spirit Church is even more terrifying, the Devil Path, and countless big goblin. On the other hand, on this small territory, once the Night Spirit Church is wiped out, there will no longer be any forces that can threaten our dynasty. I want to go to the Crimson Firmament continent. That's right. We also want to become peerless experts. I'm willing to stay. The foundation of the dynasty is here. Such news instantly caused a commotion, and the array formation in the underground palace was rumbling. Su Junyan's divine prowess erupted. Everyone, don't be noisy. Su Fang stood up at this moment, and everyone's eyes suddenly congealed. I will go to the Crimson Firmament continent and capture the patriarch of the Zhao nation, Zhao Wuji, alive. Also, there are dozens of high-ranking officials from the Zhao nation. Today, I will bring them back and hand them over to the clan to be dealt with. Instantly, he released a Xian Guang, and layers of array formations could be seen within the Xian Guang. This mystical ability intimidated everyone in the family Su. What kind of cultivation did he have? How powerful was his drawing skills to be able to control the array formation to such an extent? Wow! The array formation condensed, and more than 20 people appeared within it. They were all seated cross-legged on the ground. First, it was Zhao Wuji, followed by the 8th Prince, Lu Lan, and the others. They were all important figures from the Zhao nation in the past. Kill them. Once Zhao Wuji and the others appeared, they couldn't move. After being suppressed by Su Fang for dozens of years, they were already living in a state of panic and didn't have any stance. Everyone in the family Su shouted for them to stop and were filled with killing intent. They all said that they wanted to execute the Zhao clan. Back then, Zhao Wuji killed our family Su's ancestors and destroyed our empire and dynasty. He deserved to die. As the emperor, Su Yaotian made everyone quiet down. His gaze landed on Zhao Wuji and the others. The Zhao nation was also destroyed by us, and our hatred has been resolved. If we kill them, how will we be different from the Zhao nation in the past? My intention is simple. Cripple their cultivation and turn them into mortals. They will be imprisoned in the dynasty forever and will not be allowed to take a step out. Clan head, we can discuss this matter further. We cannot let the tiger return to the mountain. Some of the higher-ups had opinions. Su Fang kept himself out of the matter and watched for a moment. He then secretly bid farewell to Su Yaotian and quietly left the underground palace alone. In the sky above the forest outside the red palm volcano, Master! Originally, there was only Su Fong, but soon the sky snow flying raccoon, the heaven domain snow lion, the water snake big goblin, the heaven covering monster, and more than a dozen formidable big goblins appeared. In this southern border, besides Dao Zhan Fox Mother, they were probably the most powerful demons. Transform into human forms and immediately search this continent for the Night Spirit Sect. Kill everyone you see. Don't leave anyone alive. Also, go to the depths of southern border and search. Although there is a famous big goblin in the heaven domain, Dao Zhan Fox Mother will not make things difficult for you. Su Fong ordered in a dignified manner. Remember, I want no evil sect to survive in this continent. Whoosh! More than a dozen big goblins immediately transformed into human forms and flew in all directions. He released his young nascent soul and activated a rune in his consciousness. Dao Wuliang, I have ordered more than a dozen commanders to eliminate the Night Spirit Sect in southern border. How is the situation over there? Dao Wuliang immediately replied, the Night Spirit Sect here has been destroyed by the Dao Mother. However, some of the Night Spirit Sect's forces are still active in the periphery. A large number of human forces in the depths of southern border have been killed by the Night Spirit Sect. I will be there soon. The young nascent soul calmed down. After waiting for a while, Su Yaotian, Su Junyan, and the other higher-ups arrived at Su Fong's vicinity. They left the Red Palm volcano and soon arrived at a territory full of mountains and precipitous ridges between the Red Palm volcano and the Zhao country. This was a barren land deep in the mountains and forests. There are no traces of humans living here. There were some demons, but they were very ordinary demons that had not reached the Golden Core realm. Everyone pointed at the vast and quiet forest and said, it's not a bad place to rebuild the Su dynasty. Su Yaotian said, Fong, of the Night Spirit Sect, is almost everywhere in southern border. Some of them are in ruins. This is probably the only place that has not been set foot by the Night Spirit Sect. Su Fong nodded. Then let's build the capital of the dynasty here. I have already sent experts to eliminate the Night Spirit Sect in all directions of southern border. There should be a result in about half a year. Father, during this time, I hope there will be a result within the family. I will lead everyone out of here as soon as possible. I will make the arrangements immediately. Su Yaotian nodded. Capital City. At that moment, everyone followed Su Fong's gaze and looked at the gloomy forest world. There were also many mountain ranges in the distance. Since it's the capital of the Su dynasty, it has to look like it. Chi. Su Fong suddenly fled in front of Su Yaotian, Su Junyan, and the others. Before they could understand what was going on, a shocking spiritual light suddenly appeared in front of them. It enveloped at least 100 kilometers of land. The spiritual light suddenly transformed into countless layers of array, formations that fused with the depths of the earth. When they looked at the forest again, there was nothing but clouds. It was as though the forest, earth, and mountain ranges had been devoured by the spiritual light. After another dozen breaths, Su Fong tore through the air and grabbed at the clouds in front of them. Immediately, a barrier appeared from the clouds. While everyone was amazed, they also said that they had never seen such a brilliant array formation. After entering the barrier, everyone was amazed. This was because the forest and mountain ranges in front of them were actually floating. Below them was the city, and above them were the floating forests and mountain ranges. Within the floating mountain ranges, there was also a city that was not very big. Someone was so frightened that he sighed. This is the work of an immortal. In the Crimson Firmament continent, there are many cultivation factions that have such a standard. The entire capital city's barrier is divided into 3 parts: the outer sanctum, the inner sanctum below the city, and the floating barrier above. The array formation runes control the entire barrier. Deep in the ground below the array formation, I also buried a spirit vein and many spirit stones as the core of the array formation. It can protect the capital city and also condense the essence of heaven and earth for the capital city at all times. The city below is where the common people live. The floating array formation above is where the family Su and the cultivators of the dynasty live and cultivate. It seems to be a different space, but it is actually still the same land. It's just that the array formation changes and creates a certain illusion. The capital city's barrier is the most important. Therefore, the person who controls the array formation runes of the barrier must be the person with the greatest authority in the dynasty. Otherwise, if the runes fall into the hands of others, the dojo will be useless. When we capture some experts of the night spirit cult, I'll refine them into puppets and hide them deep in the ground below the array formation to protect the dojo. When they arrived at the center of the floating barrier and saw that the inner sanctum was filled with spirit chi, everyone was amazed and wondered if they were dreaming. Su Fong told everyone about the general situation of the dojo. Su Yaotian could not wait and immediately ordered the migration. A few days later, a large number of common people and cultivators of the Su dynasty officially arrived at this once barren land from the Red Palm volcano. About 2 months later, the heavenly domain Snow Lion returned with more than 1,000 suppressed night spirit cult heretics. Su Fong used his methods to refine them into puppets and erase their consciousnesses. He planted runes and fused them with the barrier of the dojo. Among these puppets, some were even golden core experts. In this way, the Su dynasty's capital city could be considered impregnable in the southern border. After forming the runes to control the dojo and the puppets, Su Yaotian, Su Junyan, and the other higher-ups came to the top of the dojo. Su Yaotian said, "Fong, your Uncle Yin has decided to stay here with most of his clansmen." When they saw the new capital city, they were unwilling to go to the Crimson Firmament continent. Su Fong passed the rune talisman to Su Junyan. "Uncle Yin, this is the rune talisman that controls the capital city's Dao Hall. There are also more than 1,000 puppets that control the Dao Hall. With these 1,000 puppets, no one can pose a threat to the capital city unless they encounter a golden core expert. Another thing is that once the Dao Hall's enchantment is sealed, even a golden core expert cannot break it from the outside. This is the foundation of our Su dynasty. Then I can be at ease." Su Junyan's tears flowed down his face. Su Yaotian said, "Zhao Wuji and the others supported my decision in the end. They all had their cultivations crippled and were imprisoned in the capital city forever. Killing them is meaningless. Father, I reckon that many people will go to the Crimson Firmament continent. Previously, many people were clamoring to go. But after calming down and seeing how extraordinary the new capital city is, most of them are willing to stay. I reckon that only a few hundred people will leave. Most of them are from the younger generation. Su Yin, Xiao Long, Su Yi, and the others that you are familiar with are all willing to stay. They will continue to be family Su elders and establish the dynasty here." "Fine. I'll have to trouble Father to order the clansmen to gather in the imperial city above the capital city. I am prepared to cleanse everyone's marrow and condense a golden core for some of them. This will increase the overall strength of the family Su. With this foundation, even if the dynasty is destroyed in the future, we can start all over again. There is no empire in this world that will never fall." Fong is very considerate. Su Junyan excitedly held Su Fong's hands. The other higher-ups were also looking forward to it. Su Yaotian had a gratified smile on his face. Seeing his son's achievements today, as a parent, how could he not be happy? Chapter 606. That night, the family Su cultivators and the upper echelons of the dynasty gathered in the city. Su Fong used his supreme control ability and merged some spiritual items into spiritual water. With the help of a formation, he forcefully cleansed the bodies of tens of thousands of people. Such a scene had probably never happened before in the southern border continent. Su Fong was too powerful. In front of him, tens of thousands of people were not cultivators at all. They were just mortal cultivators who had not formed their golden cores. It was very easy to control them and cleanse them together. After several hours of cleansing, most of them had broken through to the vast core realm. For example, Su Xiaolong, Su Yin, Su Yi, and the others were all forming their golden cores. Their appearances had also changed a lot. They looked about 30 years old. After most of them left, only 1,000 family Su cultivators and the true upper echelons of the dynasty remained. Luo Zhongyun was among them. After letting everyone sit down, Su Fong cleansed their bodies again. He helped them form their vast cores and planted a golden core imprint in them. From the next day onwards, Su Junyan, Su Tung, Su Yin, Su Yi, and the other upper echelons of the family Su all formed their golden cores and stepped into the heavenly fusion realm from the vast core realm. During this period, there were occasional heavenly tribulations. These heavenly tribulations were like child's play in front of Su Fong. Everyone passed through them easily. More and more experts formed their golden cores. In less than a month, more than 1,000 people had successfully formed their golden cores. Su Fong also distributed some low-grade magical treasures that surpassed the heavenly fusion realm to everyone. As for Su Junyan, he was now the next emperor of the Su dynasty. The future of the Su dynasty would depend on him. Su Tung, as the heavenly king protector, secretly managed the family Su resources. Here, Su Fong left behind a rune and a high-grade magical treasure. Su Junyan and Su Tung could not activate the high-grade magical treasure. However, with the rune left behind by Su Fong, they could activate the power of the high-grade magical treasure. In the Nanjiang continent, high-grade magical treasures were invincible. The Su dynasty had the boundary of the dojo, puppets, and so many golden core experts. With the high-grade magical treasures, they had surpassed any force in history. Even if the immortals and imperishable experts of the Crimson Sky continent came, they would not be able to shake the Su dynasty. Even a Yang Soul cultivator would not be able to threaten him. Su Junyan felt that they should choose a younger clansman to be the emperor or Su Tong to take over the throne. However, Su Yaotian felt that the dynasty needed stability as it was currently being rebuilt. Thus, he insisted on letting Su Yaotian rule the dynasty. It wouldn't be too late to choose an emperor after the dynasty succeeded. Su Tong secretly controlled the family Su resources and was unable to manage the dynasty. Like Luo Zhongyun, he also became a heavenly union realm expert. Most likely, not long later, he would be conferred as a duke by the Su dynasty, overseeing a region. Vassals. When Luo Zhongyun had once served Tianmen province in Nightmare Cave, his greatest goal had probably been to become a cave master. After doing all this, he waited for another half a year. The dozen or so junior commanders returned one after another. They had already wiped out all the Night Spirit Society members in the southern border except for the areas near the depths of the Dark Forest. It was estimated that he had killed no less than 50,000 evil cult members, all of whom were ordinary cultivators. After the junior commander returned, Su Fong immediately passed down the order. Su Yaotian brought more than 100 young family Su disciples with him. Su Junyan led tens of thousands of people out of the capital city and sent them off with their gazes. Along the way, all the family members except Su Yaotian were sucked into the flaming cloud spirit gourd. He also released his consciousness and planted alchemy techniques in everyone's minds. Currently, they were allowed to cultivate alchemy techniques in the flaming cloud spirit gourd. When they returned to the spirit mist world, they would more or less be able to master some alchemy techniques. Su Yaotian was also very curious about alchemy techniques, especially the impotence pill. This was because he had taken it before. Every time he took one, his cultivation would improve. Now, he had already stepped into the immortality realm. Southern border. The two of them flew over on their swords and stared at the vast mountains and precipitous ridges. Su Yaotian said, when the dynasty was first established, apart from King Ming and some small factions, this southern border was the most mysterious place. Along the way, they could clearly sense some poisonous gas from the Night Spirit Society. Many cities had turned into ruins, and the continent of southern border was also deathly silent. However, there were some human auras near the borders of the hidden forest. Dao Wuliang, Shu Shuai, and a few big goblin foxes rushed out to welcome the two of them when they arrived at the hidden forest. They were worried that Su Yaotian would not be able to adapt to the demonic aura world, so they let him enter the flaming cloud spirit gourd to cultivate first. The interior of the hidden forest was similar to the first time Su Fong came here. However, this time, Su Fong could clearly see the entire hidden forest array formation. There were about 30 big goblin resting here, and less than 10 foxes. Dao Wuyong led Su Fong to a natural cave in the deepest part of the forest. The most powerful Dao Zhan fox matriarch was sitting cross-legged in the cave. When she saw Su Fong, she asked Dao Wuyong and Shu Shuai to sit down together. The entire southern border was swept by the Night Spirit Society in a short period of time. I was in seclusion at that time. When I discovered that the continent was filled with the evil aura, I sent my elites out of the southern border. They fought with a leader of the Night Spirit Society and were severely injured by me. Only then did the true elites of the Night Spirit Society temporarily withdraw from the southern border continent. They used other methods to pass through the dark forest. Currently, they're probably somewhere in the Crimson Nimbus continent to rebuild their forces. Dao Zhan Fox Matriarch went straight to the point and roughly told Su Fong about how the Night Spirit Society was attacked in the southern border. Dao Wuyong sneered. Actually, you and I know that, leader. We know each other. Su Fong just realized why there weren't any powerful Night Spirit Society elites in the southern border. It turned out that Dao Zhan Fox Matriarch was secretly protecting this world. At this moment, he opened his eyes wide and waited for Dao Wuyong to explain. The leader of the Night Spirit Society is a demon Dao elite. He's the one-horned demon venerable that you and I met in the dark forest. The one-horned demon venerable that you and I met twice. That's the one. He's very powerful to be able to leave the southern border alive. I didn't expect him to be the one-horned demon venerable. Su Fong was shocked when he heard that. The one-horned demon venerable appeared on the continent during the upheaval. Later on, he accidentally escaped from a seal in the dark forest. However, Su Fong had always thought that the one-horned demon venerable wasn't that powerful. Being able to leave the southern border alive meant that even Dao Zhan Fox Matriarch didn't have the strength to kill him. How powerful was Dao Zhan Fox Matriarch? She was at least as strong as the Sky Drill Rat Emperor and as strong as the 9-segment Earth Dragon. Each of them was stronger than Grand Elder Shaoyan. They couldn't kill a one-horned demon venerable. Dao Zhan Fox Matriarch warned the three of them. The Night Spirit Society has secretly established forces in many places in the Zhuotian realm. If you meet their true experts in the future, you have to be very careful. They can't be killed. Su Fong shivered. Senior, I don't understand why they can't be killed. That one-horned demon venerable you speak of is only at the winged transformation realm. However, his blood poison is difficult to suppress. Most importantly, no matter how much you injure his body, you can't kill him. He should have used God descent. In reality, his body was cut in two. Back then, he was thought to be dead, but he was unexpectedly revived in another body. That's why he escaped from the southern border. I have fought with the Night Spirit Society several times. Their God descent is indeed terrifying. Their young nascent soul is very powerful, but I have never seen that kind of evil resurrection technique. I still vaguely remember that a Night Spirit Society expert said that they have an immortal divine ability. Could it be that they really can't die? There is no immortal in this world. Even immortals can fall. All these signs indicate that the Night Spirit Society is not simple. You have to be more careful in the future. I think the Night Spirit Society will stir up an evil storm in the Zhuotian realm. Dao Zhan Fox Matriarch disappeared after she finished speaking. Grandmother is going into seclusion to achieve the final transformation. Dao Wuyong led Su Fong to a valley. After resting for a few days, Su Fong proposed to leave the southern border. Dao Wuyong and Shu Shuai also agreed. The three of them left the hidden forest and arrived above the dark forest. They were about to cross the dark forest again when Dao Wuyong and Shu Shuai noticed that Su Fong was not moving. What's wrong? Su Fong said coldly. I want to obtain more of the Zhuotian realm's origin energy and become the world lord. This dark forest has so much world origin energy. I want to take it. You want to make a move on the dark forest? Dao Wuyang clenched his teeth. The dark forest is very mysterious. Even grandmother is wary of it. If you really want to take it, you should communicate with grandmother first. It would be best if he could get Dao Zhun Fox Matriarch's help. Under Dao Wuyang's urging, a thought was transmitted. It was Dao Zhun Fox Matriarch. There is indeed a very frightening world origin energy under the dark forest. It even surpasses the Tianhu domain. Senior, this junior has already obtained some of the Zhuotian realm's origin energy by chance. If I can obtain the dark forest's world origin energy, this junior is very confident that he will become the Zhuotian realm's realm lord in the future. It seems like you have made up your mind. Then listen carefully. The dark forest is actually a disciple of the current Zhuotian realm's realm lord. His name is Master Heiyun. The realm lord's disciple, Master Heiyun. So the dark forest was a forbidden area built by the realm lord's disciple. No wonder it was so frightening. Master Heiyun's cultivation is very high. He has already reached the peak of mortal cultivation. He can ascend to the great world at any time and become an immortal. Of course, in the small world, there are also humans with cultivation like him. However, he is the realm lord's disciple. He can control the power of the Zhuotian realm. His strength is already at the level of an immortal. If you want to take the dark forest, it is not impossible. However, you must at least have the strength to deal with Master Heiyun. If not, you will offend him. When you return to the Zhuotian realm in the future, he will sense you, and you will have nowhere to hide. My suggestion is that you can take the dark forest. However, it is best to wait until you're stronger or until you obtain more world origin energy. Only then will you be able to contend with Master Heiyun's world power. If you are unable to contend with him in terms of world power, then you are destined to be no match for him. Master Heiyun has been hiding here for hundreds of thousands of years. He has been cultivating the world origin energy and fusing with the Zhuotian realm. You should be trying to obtain the realm lord's inheritance and become the next Zhuotian realm's new realm lord. This person is ruthless and tyrannical. After establishing the dark forest, he can only let cultivators walk through the forest. No cultivators are allowed to forcefully fly through the forest. Dao Zhun Fox's mother revealed the secret of the dark forest word by word to Su Fong. Su Fong could more or less sense Master Heiyun's strength from the strong cultivators inside the dark forest. He is the disciple of the Zhuotian realm lord. He must have thunder methods. Otherwise, how could he make the cultivators of the small world respect him? Junior will not have any ideas about the dark forest for now. When Junior becomes stronger, Junior will deal with Master Heiyun. Su Fong gratefully sent off Dao Zhun Fox's mother's thought. How can a cultivator be so calm in the hundreds of thousands of years of cultivation? He has already ascended to the great world. This Master Heiyun is indeed not simple. Then I will wait until I obtain the world origin energy in the Tian Gourd realm. When I become stronger, I will have any ideas about the dark forest. In the end, after discussing with Dao Wuyang and Shu Shuai, the two found out that this was the territory of the realm lord's disciple. Only then did they truly fear the dark forest. They did not know before, so they were not afraid. They could only go around the dark forest. They had offended the forest before. This time, they did not have the confidence to force their way in. Activating the instant space ring, Su Fong began to try his best to fly to the right. It took him half a day to go around the dark forest and return to the Crimson Firmament continent. Chapter 607. Dao Wuyang and Shu Shuai had wanted to return to White Sand Island. However, when they heard that Su Fong was about to face a tough battle, they insisted on leaving the Zhuotian realm with Su Fong. Spirit Mist Realm. Rich continent. In the depths of the continent, which was surrounded by jewels and treasures, there was a gathering place of the highest authority, the palace. Yu Yingying seemed to be waiting for something. A few palace maids were waiting in the main hall. Soon, A guard led Su Fong to the main hall. There are not enough impotence pills to sell. You have to increase your alchemy speed. Yu Yingying went straight to the point, which suited her status very well. As the manager of the continent, she did not beat around the bush. If you have any shortcomings, you can look for me. The impotence pills are really a waste in the Zhuotian realm. This kind of pill that is filled with yang power has never been seen in a small world. It contains a huge business opportunity. Let alone 10,000 years. Even a few hundred years later, the impotence pills will bring you a shocking amount of wealth, making you as rich as the Yin dynasty. Then, you don't have to be afraid of that young master Yin Jun. It's good that you were prepared before I came. Otherwise, you would have been led by the nose by her. Su Fong muttered to himself. He was still very surprised by Yu Yingying's straightforwardness. You have to know that young master Yin Jun has been secretly preparing to deal with the Sky Crossing Trading Company, but I stopped him every time. If he was not afraid of me, he would have attacked your Sky Crossing sect. If you sell the impotence pills to other small worlds, you don't have to worry about the Yin dynasty. The Yin dynasty and I are only in a cooperative relationship. Everything is based on benefits. From the looks of it, the potential benefits that the Yin dynasty can bring to the continent cannot be compared to the Sky Crossing Party. This is your best opportunity. Think about it. If you sell the impotence pills to other small worlds through the Spirit Mist realm, how big would its influence be? When that time comes, young master Yin Jun will hide far away from you. At this point, Yu Yingying suddenly turned around and looked at Su Fong. Are you used to me going straight to the point? I'm getting used to it. Su Fong sighed. Our spies sent news from the Zhuotian realm, saying that the Zuan Pavilion and the Celestial Sealing sect will not let you off. They will cross over the bountiful continent to deal with you. I cannot openly protect your Heaven Crossing sect. After all, the two great powers have a cooperative relationship with me, especially the Zuan Pavilion. They have cooperated for tens of thousands of years. In fact, the Celestial Sealing sect is not simple either. Ling Mubat, yes, this person's strength is not something an ordinary leader should have. I have seen the previous leaders of the Celestial Sealing sect. I even know the person who founded the Celestial Sealing sect. However, this Ling Mubai is more outstanding than most of the leaders in this small world. If you really threaten the Celestial Sealing sect, he will kill you with the thunder of an immortal. I've said so much so that you can clearly see how dangerous your current situation is. Sometimes, you have to establish yourself and be strong. Not only do you have to be strong, but you also have to have a foundation. Once the Yang strengthening pill can stand out among countless other pills, even if you have twice as many enemies, they will have to ask my Spirit Mist world if they want to touch you. Am I clear enough? Yu Yingying suddenly flashed and appeared right in front of Su Fong. Don't ruin your future so easily in your own hands. Su Fong took a step back, unable to bear Yu Yingying's strange personality. My lord, you mean that the Spirit Mist world can protect me? It's obvious, replied Yu Yingying. Then I'll double the current amount of pills. Double is not enough. 10 times is best. My lord, then you can give me a few thousand slaves. Yang Nascent Realm, Catastrophe Realm, and Ascension Realm are all fine. I'll suppress them and use them to refine pills. The expert behind me is currently preparing for his ascension. I don't want to trouble him with all the big and small matters. That's right. I want benefits, and so do you. We each take our strengths. Isn't that good? You're very careful. All right, I'll prepare the slaves for you. Don't worry, I won't easily peek at your pill recipes. Yu Yingying's expression finally returned to normal. Her beautiful eyebrows relaxed as she waved her hand and sent out a decree. After a while, a middle-aged man with heavy footsteps walked over to Yu Yingying. My lord, how many death row prisoners do you want? Yu Yingying said, those death row prisoners offended our continent and killed our people. Some of them are also extremely vicious and evil. Raising them for nothing and even providing them food and clothing is really letting them off easy. Immediately prepare 10,000 prisoners and quickly send them to Little Sky Devil Island and hand them over to Sectmaster Su. This subordinate will go to the strategic location and retrieve the death row prisoners. The middle-aged man turned and sped away. He was an expert, and a peak expert at that. His strength should be at least on the same level as Yuan Tianzong and Jin Chongkong. Who would have thought that such an expert was only one of Yu Yingying's experts on the bountiful continent? After reaching an agreement with Yu Yingying, Su Fang immediately rushed back to the Little Sky Devil sect. Dao Wuliang and Xu Shui arrived at the Heaven Crossing sect first. As soon as Su Fang returned, Li Zuqing asked about the situation with the Yang strengthening pill. In just 3 days, 10,000 death row prisoners were sent to Little Sky Devil Island. Su Fang sucked all of them into the true demon blood plate and used underworld Yin energy to force them to submit to him. No one was unafraid of the underworld Yin energy. With the blood wraith true demon constantly waiting to eat them alive, they were all willing to be sealed and shackled for a short period of time. In order to prevent these people from having any ideas, Su Fang even planted a special blood poison from the blood wraith true demon in their bodies. After controlling 10,000 people, he began to teach them alchemy. This was a process. While waiting, Su Fang activated the Fire Cloud Spirit Gourd and welcomed family Su clansmen into the Heaven Crossing sect. When they learned that this wasn't the Zhuotian realm, they were stunned. They thought that the Zhuotian realm was the only world. Who would have thought that there was still the Spirit Mist realm, planet Chilean, the Beichen Zone, and countless other small worlds outside? Su Fang handed over the entire Heaven Crossing sect to Su Yaotian and his clansmen to manage. He ordered Gu Shizhen, the supreme demon king, Lien Mo, and the other slaves to follow him, with Su Fang accompanying them at all times and assisting them in their cultivation. The cultivation of over 100 family Su clansmen skyrocketed. One by one, they stepped into the eternal life realm from the heavenly union realm. Su Yaotian's cultivation rose the fastest. In truth, his talent was also very shocking. If the small world in the state of Zhao had supreme techniques, magic treasures, and spiritual qi, he would have long since become an immortal, undying, and indestructible expert. Su Yaotian probably didn't want Su Fang to be too distracted. While he cultivated, he also diligently practiced his alchemy skills. From the first time he successfully refined an aphrodisiac pill to now, it only took him a few years to do so. And in these few years, the number of aphrodisiac pills refined increased tenfold. Tens of millions of pills were refined every day. But for the bountiful continent, the supply still couldn't meet the demand. Now, the Heaven Crossing sect is truly on the right track, especially with the bountiful continent's true protection. Which power would dare to attack the Little Sky Devil Island? I've already absorbed most of the Zhuotian realm's soul essence from the 9-segment Earth Dragon. It's time to attack the second layer of the Calamity and step into the third layer of the Calamity. I have to wait until Sister Yu returns and the Great Emperor Dipper enters the Zhuotian realm. The Great Emperor Dipper isn't easy to deal with. At this moment, Su Fang left the Little Sky Devil Island alone and went to the depths of the distant waters. He found an uninhabited island and set up a formation. The 9-segment Earth Dragon, the Heavenly Domain Snow Lion, the Heavenly Snow Flying Raccoon, and the Big Goblin all appeared. They hid in the sky, on the island, and underwater. With so many layers of protection, Su Fang's tribulation would be absolutely safe. 3 layers of calamity. There will definitely be 3 great tribulations. Inside the formation, he completely released the seals in his body. The flesh, fetus, divine armor disappeared, and his perfect physical body burst out. Immediately, his body's energy boiled under the impact of the 100 acupoints finger art. The icebound king's corpse is finally out of immortal blood. There's only a dozen drops left. He prepared spiritual items for consumption. Immortal blood, immortal fruits, undying flowers, and the life-seizing recreating pill with a pill spirit. Any spiritual item was a rare treasure in this world. If an ordinary cultivator obtained one of them, it would bring about an unimaginable change. 5 poisons true chi, blood hell wolf smoke, heavenly devil true chi, and big goblin's demonic chi. I have to hide these powers for now, so that they won't explode during the tribulation. After a series of preparations, a huge heavenly tribulation appeared in the sky. Su Fong soared into the sky and looked at the heavenly tribulation in the sky. He circulated his true qi. Tribulation clouds gathered. Lightning and thunder roared, and a storm tore apart. The calamity seemed to want to kill Su Fong in this body of water. There's more heavenly lightning and earthly fire. The first heavenly tribulation suddenly descended. Su Fong looked carefully. Within the lightning, there was a burning flame. It was the heavenly lightning and earthly fire that he was familiar with last time. Peerless divine form. When the heavenly tribulation descended, Su Fong's body exploded. His entire body seemed to explode. At this time, each meridian in his body was like a surging river of true qi. It was too terrifying. His meridians were inconceivable, and his muscles were as hard as magic treasures. Adding on his 6 meridians and the dragon-subduing wood, his body had become another world. While expanding his body, he didn't attack. Instead, he used another innate divine ability of cultivators. Divine form. The divine form's power immediately rose. The surroundings of the descending heavenly tribulation suddenly began to freeze, turning into a world of ice. The heavenly tribulation seemed to be frozen inside. Although it shattered a lot of ice, it was unable to completely penetrate the world of ice. In just a short while, the first heavenly tribulation was suppressed by the divine form. When the second tribulation struck, Su Fong was still using his godly image. However, his qi and dermic powers were being consumed at an alarming rate. The power of the godly image had forcibly shackled the heavenly lightning and earthly fire contained in the tribulation. When the final tribulation descended, it formed 3 peerless heavenly tribulation storms. Su Fong also fused other divine abilities while using his divine form. Under the shackles of the godly avatars, 3 storms of catastrophe. A large number of cold qi palm prints attacked fiercely, suppressing the 3 storms of catastrophe. It was as if everything in the sky was about to be destroyed by the storms of catastrophe and enter a destructive aura. In the end, Su Fong easily passed the 3rd tribulation with 10 times the power of the 2nd tribulation. 3rd tribulation realm. If he didn't have such a special ability that surpassed all cultivators, he would have ended up like most cultivators. He would have ended up in a sorry state or be killed by the tribulation. Even geniuses like Prince Shui, Huang Lingyao, and Sheng Changsheng had a hard time passing the tribulation. Otherwise, they would have stepped into the ascension realm long ago. A natural spiritual light descended from the heavenly tribulation. It was tribulation qi, a mysterious tribulation qi that contained the power of heaven and earth. It also caused more tribulation qi to appear in the body. The flesh began to shatter. The impurities in the afterbirth were very shocking. When it finally stopped, Su Fong felt as if he had been reborn. Right now, my strength is probably at the 1st or 2nd tier of the Ascension realm. If I use my magic treasure, it's unimaginable. Prince Shui, this time, I won't let you get the Gourd Spirit Tree. I also want to kill the Great Emperor Dipper and deal a heavy blow to the Xinyuan Empire. It will be easier to get the Renhuang world in the future. Buzz. After everything quieted down, Su Fong was cultivating. Suddenly, the power of the life-shrinking technique burned in the depths of his mind. Strange. He immediately used the life-shrinking technique. Chapter 608. What the hell? When he was undergoing the tribulation, there were signs of the heaven's secret life-shrinking technique in his divine aperture. A mysterious flame immediately burned in his divine aperture. The heaven's secret life-shrinking technique was being used. Countless Tao runes surged out and intertwined. The heaven's secret life-shrinking technique has a special ability to sense fate. Someone must be spying on my fate aura in the spirit mist world. Who is it? Immortal Ceiling, Sexuan Pavilion, was it you Ying from the Cornucopia continent or the Yin dynasty's young master Yinjun? There weren't many who knew his identity, and treated him as an enemy. The Xinyuan Empire, Doichi, and Green Lotus Sword sect aren't them. They shouldn't have discovered me so quickly. Countless Dao runes burned, and a surge of luck immediately made Su Fong look in all directions. At this moment, his ability to sense fate had surpassed the Yang Nascent Realm, Catastrophe Realm, and even Feather Transformation Realm. Even Feather Transformation Realm powerhouses didn't have 1% of his ability to sense fate. If one were to compare the difference between Su Fong and them, then the difference between them and Su Fong was that no one could compare to him in terms of fate detection. That was because he cultivated the Heaven's Secret Life shrinking technique. Everything turned into nothingness under the power of the Heaven's Secret Life shrinking technique. The surrounding water became dark. Gradually, the sky and everything in the sky became dark. Who is it? He continued to sense, but still didn't discover anything. The fate aura in his divine aperture was still pulsing slightly. Buzz. After a while, he didn't know how deep or far the Heaven's Secret Life shrinking technique could sense. All of a sudden, Su Fong sensed an aura of destiny coming from the darkness at the top of the tower. It's not in the spirit mist world. What shocked Su Fong was that following this buzz, he realized that he had passed through the spirit mist world and arrived at the boundless Star River. When did the power of the Heaven's Secret Life shrinking technique reach such a terrifying level? Buzz, buzz. The signs of fate suddenly beat faster. When Su Fong looked at a certain point in the Milky Way, everything was dark, but at the end of that unknown place, there were suddenly 2 points of light. They looked like haze, but they looked a little like stars. They were constantly projected from the distant haze of the Milky Way. Su Fong was puzzled. Found it. Who is it? Out of curiosity, he focused all of his senses, but at this moment, he could no longer project his fate perception. Magnify and magnify again. It seemed that the maximum power he could unleash with the life shrinking technique was only enough to leave the spirit mist realm. It was unable to extend beyond the Star River. Humans were limited. The cultivation civilization had yet to achieve the ideal of omnipotence. Of course, the ability to sense the power of fate was something that humans could not touch. Those who could control fate were like the void dust. They were existences that existed beyond the 6 Taoists and existed in the turbulence of heaven and earth. There were only a handful of such cultivators in both the small world and the great world. Su Fong was fortunate enough to be one of them. There was also the mysterious woman in the ancient mirror. Under the intense curiosity, he seemed to be restrained by a pulling force from the spirit mist realm. He was unable to probe further into the 2 light spots. However, the light spots seemed to be paying attention to the spirit mist realm. After waiting for a while, the 2 light spots gradually became clearer. Who can sense in this vast Star River? I'm curious. Could it be Senior Mu Chun? Su Fong was so shocked that he could barely breathe. Such control of the Star River was too terrifying. There was nowhere to hide. The vast Star River was under the control of that mysterious person. He thought of someone who had taken Bai Ling away. It was the Supreme Master from the Heavenly Dipper Realm, Mu Chun. Only he had such powerful strength and had connections with him. It was impossible for an unfamiliar giant to come looking for him. It's not Senior Mu Chun. If it was him, he could have used the aura that corresponds to mine on Sister Bai and used his senses to find me. He wouldn't have had to go through so much trouble and be so sneaky. At this moment, the 2 light spots were finally projected clearly into the spirit mist realm. 2 drops of pupils. He didn't see any light spots. He felt as if he had been hit by Li Lei. A pair of deep pupils crossed the Star River and landed above the spirit mist realm. Su Fong saw the pupils. It was as if the other party could see everything clearly. The divine image, Jade Wall's primordial spirit, hurriedly appeared in his divine aperture. Master, retract your senses and hide. It's a celestial. Celestial. No wonder it was so powerful. It turned out that the other party was a celestial. Ewer appeared in time. If he could sense it a little more, the other party would have a higher chance of discovering him. The pair of pupils was indeed terrifying. No wonder the senses could directly penetrate the Star River. No Star River storm, Star River meteorite, or material could stop them. Buzz. The pupils became more and more real and clear, indicating that they were constantly projecting the divine power of the senses into the spirit mist realm. The heavenly secret life shrinking technique was suddenly sealed. Su Fong felt as if he had fallen into the abyss and returned to his physical body. He stood up and absorbed the array that had been set up for the tribulations into his palm. Whoosh! Whoosh! The junior commanders appeared one by one. Ur said again, Master, the other party must have sensed a bit of your aura. That's why they could lock onto the spirit mist realm from the vast Star River. You must think of a way to hide now. Under that celestial senses, no Dharma treasure or material can hide. Even if you hide in Ur's body and turn into a speck of light, the celestial will still sense you. The power of the mortal realm's material laws is no longer able to stop the celestial's power from the great world. Hide! He couldn't even hide in a Tao artifact. Su Fong saw the junior commanders returning and suddenly locking onto the big goblin. He immediately thought of a way and dove into the big goblin. The big goblin transformed into its demon form and swallowed Su Fong. With a rumble, it jumped into the depths of the water and swam underwater. At this moment, the signs of fate in Su Fong's divine aperture were getting stronger. It meant that the celestial's pupils had entered the spirit mist realm and were constantly locking onto this world. The big goblin continued to dive deeper and deeper. It reached a depth of 10,000 meters and continued to dive deeper. In order to be cautious, he used the power of the world's origin and then merged his aura with the big goblin's. This way, even if the experts sensed the big goblin, they would only be able to sense the origin aura in his body. Furthermore, there were many life forms in the water. If they were not humans, the celestial would not be able to search every single one of them. Master, that celestial's power is projected onto the spirit mist realm's water region. The celestial's aura is very familiar to you, The celestial and the Tao artifact have a connection to the great world's aura. Can you sense the other party's aura? Although it's risky, can try. As long as his aura lands in this water region, you will be able to capture some of it. All right. The big goblin arrived at the water region that was tens of thousands of meters deep and dove into the underground cavern at the bottom of the water. It was so deep, and there was the natural barrier of the water region. No matter how powerful the celestial was, he would not be able to clearly sense every single part of the water region. The sensing power of the divine image, Jade Annulus, was also faintly released. Su Fong could only hide all of his aura within the source confinement. The feeling of being sensed by a celestial was truly unpleasant. Now, he was sure that it was not Mu-chun. Although Mu-chun was powerful and invincible, he was still not a celestial. If he had not been to the great world, then he would not be a celestial. After an hour, Ur retracted his sensing power. Master, that celestial's aura has left. He sensed a little bit of it. It's just the shape of a celestial's sensing power. It's in the shape of lotus flowers and lotus leaves. Lotus flowers and lotus leaves. Suddenly, Su Fong trembled. A supreme expert of the Green Lotus Sword sect. Yes, thanks to Master's reminder. It's indeed very similar to the aura of the Green Lotus Sword sect. No wonder Ur could sense some of it. A part of you had stayed in the Green Lotus Sword sect for a long time. They used the Green Lotus Sword sect's array and power to refine Ur. Although they did not succeed, some aura remained in Ur's body. It's really the Green Lotus Sword sect. While he was shocked, he also felt surprised. Could it be that the Green Lotus Sword sect was hiding a celestial powerhouse? If there was really a celestial powerhouse, why didn't this celestial appear when he went to the great desolate swamp to seize the divine image, Jade Annulus, and kill Elder Qingyong? Could it be that he looked down on a mortal cultivator like him? The divine image, Jade Annulus, said, Master, to be safe, you should hide for a while longer. He could only let the water snake big goblin lie dormant at the bottom of the water. He took the opportunity to think about who the other party was and how to cooperate with Sister Yu to destroy Prince Shui and the Great Emperor Dipper's plan. Rich continent. In the depths of the sky, a door suddenly appeared. When the door appeared, countless mysterious origin world arrays appeared in the surroundings, densely permeating the spirit mist world. Yu Ying walked out and stared at the sky. She asked in surprise, "Master, that person did not enter the spirit mist world. Is he really in Celestial?" A mysterious voice came from the door behind her. "He is not in Celestial. If he is the same realm lord, his senses would not be able to penetrate the spirit mist world so clearly from the distant Star River. Then he is still tactful and did not step into the spirit mist world. My disciple, you are wrong. He is in Celestial. By wantonly penetrating my spirit mist world with his senses, he is actually challenging me and ignoring the realm lord of a mortal realm. This person is most likely in Celestial who just came down from a great world. If he really fought, it would be good to leave. He is sensing the water region in the depths of the continent. Go over and take a look. Maybe you can find something. As long as the cultivators who have appeared in that water region recently are people that you cannot see through, then they're the people that the Celestial is looking for. Then I will try." Yu Ying put away the door and disappeared. Wu Tan World. Green Lotus Sword Sect. In the depths of a powerful dojo. In a large array surrounded by celestial chi, Red Lotus Grand Elder and Sword Elder were waiting outside a confinement array with Qing Feng, Qing Tong, and the other elders. Inside the confinement array, Seven-Star Child was faintly seen standing with his hands behind his back and his eyes closed. Beside him was a middle-aged man in the form of a stone golem. I wonder if Senior Seven-Star Child can find the person he is looking for, as well as the cultivator who stole the divine image, Jade Annulus, from our sect and killed Azure Sunday. He should have found something. Otherwise, Senior Seven-Star Child would not have suddenly called us here to wait. Using the dojo's array that our sect created hundreds of thousands of years ago, Senior can definitely travel through the Star River and find the other person's aura. Fortunately, we have the aura of the divine image, Jade Annulus. As long as we can sense the aura of the Tao artifact, it is equivalent to finding that person's whereabouts. The elders, with Sword Elder and Red Lotus Grand Elder as the leader, secretly discussed. At this moment, the confinement array suddenly disappeared bit by bit. Seven-Star Child, who was floating inside, opened his eyes at some point. He calmly turned around and came to the experts of the Green Lotus Sword sect under the greeting of the stone-faced man. Sword Elder, who had the highest status, bowed and asked, "Senior, did you find anything?" Seven-Star Child sat in the middle of all the elders. "I have been using the divine image Jade Annulus and the lost treasure of my dojo as the center to sense it. Unexpectedly, I found the aura of my treasure on the other side of the Star River. With a burst of tribulation chi, it crossed the Star River and locked onto the spirit mist world." Chapter 609. Spirit Mist Boundary. So it's an expert from the Spirit Mist Boundary. It's not far from our Wu Tan boundary. Senior, can you accurately pinpoint that person's location? Elder Jian, First Elder Hong Lian, Qing Feng, Bronze, and the other elders asked impatiently. With such an immortal here, they could take back the divine image Jade Annulus in one fell swoop. They could also avenge the dead Elder Qing Yang. I can't pinpoint him. That person is very cunning and has some tricks up his sleeve. He was able to sense me when I used my senses to project the spirit mist boundary and hid in advance. Seven-Star Child murmured, "The biggest discovery is that the person who stole the divine image Jade Annulus and the person who stole the treasures of our training ground are the same person." First Elder Hong Lian was in disbelief. The same person? When this person was going through the tribulation, he released the aura of a treasure that belonged to me. Because this treasure was fused with him, the aura would accompany him during the tribulation. It can't be hidden. After sensing it, I also sensed the aura of the divine image Jade Annulus from this person. What guts! Not only did he steal our sect's treasures, but he also dared to steal Senior's things. We can't let such a shameless person go. Then let's go to the spirit mist boundary immediately. No, Senior, you can't pinpoint his location. Moreover, this person already sensed it. Would he still stay in the spirit mist boundary? That's why he had long ago. Senior, what do you think we should do? I reckon that this person still doesn't know my origins. He will still use the divine image, jade, annulus, and my treasures. As long as we continue to sense, he will eventually discover something. If we go to the spirit mist boundary now, he will hide himself to the extreme. It's not good to alert him. We'll listen to Senior. The divine image, jade, annulus, is the treasure of the spirit sect. It had a Tao artifact, but it was destroyed by you. It should have been secretly helped by the ascended immortals of your green lotus sword sect. To tell you the truth, the divine image, jade, annulus, was actually an immortal senior of our sect who had ascended to the lower realm. He passed down his will to the lower realm and asked us to do our best to obtain this treasure. Because of this, a sect leader of our sect who had ascended to the lower realm 50,000 years ago, Huang Yuran, secretly passed down the power of the lower realm through the spirit tablet. That was how the spirit sect was destroyed overnight. Huang Yuran should be a junior. In front of senior 7 stars, everyone in our sect is naturally a nameless junior. Sect Master Huang is one of the strongest sect masters in the history of our sect. Although he wasn't from the same era as Senior, he should have heard of Senior's existence. Could it be that he didn't go to the great world to seek refuge with Senior? The great world is not like what you think. You can tell Huang Yuran about the matter of the divine image, jade, annulus, being taken away. At that time, I immediately sent a message to the sect master. Call him a few more times and tell him to come down as soon as possible. Let's stop here for today. We have already gained something. Now, we just have to wait for that person to reveal an opening. After 7-star, Child waved his hand. The upper echelons of the green lotus sword sect retreated one by one. He sneered shrewdly. Good fellow, to be able to sense my divine might and hide such a secret. If it wasn't for the spirit mist realm lord, I would definitely be able to find you. I don't want to fight with the realm lord too soon. Although I am an immortal, I will still be suppressed by the power of this small world. Although the realm lord is not as strong as me, I won't be able to easily kill him unless I lock onto that person's location and find him. Master is so confident in his victory. Even if the realm lord tries to stop him, he will still kill him. Kid, who asked you to destroy our original bodies back then? Just wait to be cut into pieces by the 7 stars child. Even if you're the realm lord, the immortals will still kill you. The stone golem guarding the side laughed sinisterly. He couldn't wait for the 7 stars child to find Su Fong and cut him into pieces. Who told him to be trampled by Su Fong on the 7 stars demon island? Spirit Mist Realm. More than a month later, the big goblin returned to the surface of the water. After confirming that there was no threat, Su Fong concealed his aura and sucked the big goblin into his palm. After sensing it, he immediately traveled to the little Sky Devil Island. Just as he returned to the Sky Crossing sect, the divine image, Jade, Annulus, appeared in his divine aperture. Master, the other party must be a peerless expert of the Green Lotus Sword sect. It's probably an immortal who has descended to the mortal world. I took the divine image, Jade, Annulus. This is an extraordinary Tao artifact. Back then, the Green Lotus Sword sect used all their strength to destroy the Spirit sect. The divine image, Jade, Annulus fell into the hands of an outsider, but the Green Lotus Sword sect was still able to hold on. It's probably the immortal who ordered the Spirit sect to take the divine image, Jade, Annulus back then. I probably won't be able to use you in the Spirit Mist realm in the future. The divine image, Jade, Annulus disappeared and no longer disturbed Su Fong. Li Ziqing quickly came to see Su Fong. When he heard about what had happened, he was so frightened that he fell silent. An immortal had descended to the mortal world, and he had come to take back the divine image, Jade, Annulus. Wasn't this the same as a knife hanging over his head at all times? Senior, don't worry. So what if an immortal has descended to the mortal world? I admit that he's powerful, but in this vast, small world, as long as I don't activate the divine image Jade Annulus, he won't be able to sense my aura. Kid, you have to speed up and become stronger, right? Give me the divine image Jade Annulus to cultivate for a while. It just so happens that I'm about to reach the sect master's level. After Li Ziqing finished speaking, Su Fong didn't hesitate to send the divine image Jade Annulus out. He entered the depths of the formation and sped up his cultivation, striving to reach the normal level of third-layer catastrophe. He also secretly communicated with the sect's experts. He still couldn't find out when Sister Yu would return on time, so he could cultivate in peace. Zhuotian Realm, Immortal Sealing Sect. At this moment, in the depths of the Elder Hall, many elders were gathered here. After Prince Shui entered the hall, he bowed to each of the elders. Superior Yuezhen was also among them, but he wasn't the first elder now, so he couldn't sit at the top with Xiao Yun and Daoist Weizhen. Daoist Weizhen nodded after a while. Crown Prince, our Elder Hall has discussed your request for several days, and we've approved your request. We're ready to fully support you to go to the Tiangord boundary and refine the Tiangord tree. Thank you, Elder. Prince Shui smiled. The Tiangord tree isn't an ordinary spiritual object. According to the records, for hundreds of thousands of years, countless experts, whether from the Zhuotian boundary or from other small worlds, couldn't move the tree. Since you've already grasped some of the world's origin and have the confidence to try, the sect will give you a chance. First Elder Xiao Yin also said, along the way, the sect will also go to the depths of the Tiangord boundary and see if we can get some of the world's origin, so that you three disciples can become independent existences sooner. This seems to be your personal matter, but it's closely related to the sect. It's important to the sect, so we'll need some time to arrange it. Go back and prepare first. The sect will arrange the manpower as soon as possible. Thank you, elders. After the elders decided on this matter, other than the two first elders and Prince Shui, the rest of the elders left one by one. After a while, Huang Lingyao and Sheng Changsheng also came to the hall. The three disciples of the first elder hall were all gathered together. Daoist Weizhen stared at the three and said seriously, I've called you three here today because I have something for you to do. You all know about the traitor Su Fong. Not only did he betray the sect, he also killed almost 1,000 disciples of the sect in the Spirit Mist boundary. His crime is punishable by death. Prince Shui cupped his fist and said, he does deserve to be killed. Xiaoyan lowered his voice. After the elders' discussion, we've decided to get rid of this kid as soon as possible. If the Zuan Pavilion gets ahead of us, it'll be troublesome. At that time, the Xinjia Gate might really fall into the hands of the Zuan Pavilion. Therefore, we've decided to have one of you three sneak into the Spirit Mist boundary and find an opportunity to capture Su Fong alive. Not only do we want his head, but we also want the secret of the Xinjia Gate. Right now, the entire Zhuotian boundary is laughing at us, so we'll kill this kid and show them the sect style. In fact, it's not just the sect and the Zuan Pavilion. Many experts of the Zhuotian boundary are secretly planning to kill Su Fong for the Xinjia Gate. The Crown Prince probably won't be able to carry out the mission of killing Su Fong. Next, the sect will help him refine the Tiangord spiritual tree. Lingyao, Changsheng, one of you two will carry out this mission. I'll go. As soon as Daoist Weizhen finished speaking, Huang Lingyao took the initiative to volunteer. I know this person quite well. I've had a lot of contact with him before, so I know some visibilities. The two elders were very satisfied, but they still asked Changsheng, what do you think? Since Junior Sister wants to go, I'll carry out another mission. Changsheng didn't have the slightest opinion. The coldness on his body was even more intense than Huang Lingyao's. It's settled then. Lingyao, you can take a few disciples to help you complete the mission. This mission is unusual and can't be completed in a short time. You can slowly go to the Spirit Mist boundary and secretly find an opportunity to kill Su Fong. The two elders let Prince Shui and Sheng Changsheng leave first. It seemed that they had other important and special things to tell Huang Lingyao in secret. Huang Lingyao Training Hall. As soon as she came back, she sat alone for half a day. After half a day, she gathered the members of the Fragrant Jade faction. After telling them some important things, only one person was left. Lan Haicheng. Seeing Huang Lingyao silent again, the latter couldn't help but ask, "Senior sister, what's wrong? You went to the Elder Hall and didn't look happy when you came back." Huang Lingyao was full of sighs. Her eyebrows were like fried dough twists. "Because the sect gave me a death mission. Once I complete it, I have an 80% chance of becoming the future leader. If I fail, I'll give my chance to Prince Shui and Shang Changsheng. I won't be able to become the leader anymore. What kind of mission is this? Isn't the sect too strict?" Lan Haicheng was worried. The existence of the three venerated Daos is to become the future leader through open and secret struggles. If you can't become a leader, what's the point of cultivation? "Senior sister, Haicheng, you can help me. If you help me, I have a 90% chance of completing the mission." Peng. Lan Haicheng suddenly knelt down. "If I can help you, I won't hesitate even if I have to die." Huang Lingyao helped Lan Haicheng up. "If you're willing, you don't have to die. If it's dangerous for you, I won't let you do it. As long as I can help you, I won't frown. The mission is like this." Huang Lingyao quietly transmitted her voice. Lan Haicheng's eyes widened, and beads of sweat began to ooze out. After learning the mission and hearing Huang Lingyao's explanation, Lan Haicheng was stunned like an ice sculpture. "Su Fong is extremely cunning. He used to be our friend, but now he betrayed the sect. Our positions are no longer the same. This mission is to assassinate Su Fong. If you can't help, I'll still carry out the mission. As a member of the sect, I have no choice. The sect gave me this mission, so I can only carry it out. If I can say no, I won't be so embarrassed. After all, he's my friend. Prince Shui and Shang Changsheng probably think that I can't complete the mission and secretly laugh at me. I'm willing to help you complete the mission." Huang Lingyao suddenly grabbed Lan Haicheng's hands tightly. "Really? I didn't treat you as my family in vain. This is great. With your help, this mission will definitely be completed. You and I both have to understand that friends can't override the sect. You and I have no choice. Only by standing on the shoulders of the giant sect can we truly reach the end." Chapter 610. Spirit Mist Realm, Little Sky Devil Island. Wang Zhong suddenly passed through the formation and arrived outside the central formation space where Su Fong was cultivating. "What's the matter?" Su Fong asked calmly. Wang Zhong took out a rune talisman and knelt down. "Master, someone came near the island just now. They said they were here to deliver a message and insisted that I give it to you." Whoosh! An invisible force swept the rune talisman into the formation. After a while, Su Fong walked out and left Little Sky Devil Island under Wang Zhong's respectful welcome. On a small continent very close to the rich continent, Su Fong flashed over at an extremely fast speed. After entering the continent, he vaguely saw two beautiful figures walking slowly through the clouds in a forest. After a few breaths, the two familiar faces became clear through the clouds. Su Fong said, "Huang Lingyao, why are you looking for me?" Huang Lingyao and Lan Haicheng slowed down. She laughed. "What? You betrayed the sect and fell out with it. Don't tell me you don't recognize me as a friend? Haicheng, she should be your friend too, right?" "Friend, to be honest, I joined the Celestial Sealing sect with a purpose. It wasn't to become a sect master or a venerable Tao disciple. If I came to find you for your own good and to help you kill an enemy, would you believe me? This enemy is Prince Shui, who has tried to kill you time and time again. I'm no longer a disciple of the Celestial Sealing sect. I don't want to be involved in the fight between the three of you. Let me finish slowly. Prince Shui formally petitioned the sect to help him obtain the Heavenly Gourd Spirit Tree. The sect has already agreed and is secretly planning this matter. It's estimated that we'll be able to help Prince Shui enter the Heavenly Gourd domain in about 10 years. I admit that I came to find you because I was a bit selfish. After all, Prince Shui is our common enemy." Huang Lingyao was a bit flirtatious at this moment. This obvious change was because she no longer treated Su Fong as a chess piece that she had used in the past. At this moment, the person standing in front of her was a big shot of a force. Naturally, she couldn't act like she did in the past and show a look of disdain. Huang Lingyao said again, "Can't we talk about this properly? Tea cools down when people leave, but the cup of tea you gave me is still warm." Whoosh! The ladder flashed and immediately landed on the edge of a cliff below. The two women also came to the left side at the same time. Huang Lingyao said, "You know Prince Shue's temperament very well. If he succeeds, he won't let you go. This time, you've killed many disciples of the sect, especially the Zuan Pavilion. You've suffered heavy losses. Will the sect let you go?" "Senior Marshal Sister, if you have something to say, just say it. There's no need to beat around the bush," Su Fong replied indifferently. On the surface, the sect is going all out to help Prince Shue obtain the heavenly gourd spirit tree. However, I secretly heard that the reason why the sect is going all out to help Prince Shue obtain the heavenly gourd spirit tree and make Prince Shue strong in a short period of time is actually to nurture Prince Shue and then kill you. The Celestial Bestowment sect is playing a big game of chess. There's only one selfish reason why I'm telling you all this. That is, I hope that you and I can secretly sabotage Prince Shue's fusion with the heavenly gourd spirit tree. It's best if we can take the opportunity to kill him and end all troubles once and for all. There's no free lunch in this world. Su Fong didn't immediately respond. Instead, she was secretly analyzing. Huang Lingyao came at the perfect time. It seemed like this was the best opportunity to get rid of Prince Shue. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He remained silent as he thought deeper. Could it be that she doesn't know about the cooperation between Prince Shue and the Xinyuan Empire? It seems like she really doesn't know. Prince Shue asked the Great Emperor Dipper for help and the Celestial Bestowment sect to help him. This time, he's determined to obtain the heavenly gourd spirit tree. In fact, Huang Lingyao is right about one thing. Once Prince Shue becomes strong, the Celestial Bestowment sect will definitely send him to kill me. For example, didn't he come to the Spirit Mist world last time? Junior Brother Fong, no, you're not a disciple of the Celestial Bestowment sect anymore. I'll just call you Brother Fong. If Prince Shue becomes strong, my position in the Celestial Bestowment sect will definitely be threatened, and you will also be killed by him. This is why I'm here. If you and I work together, even if we can't kill him, we have to stop him from refining the heavenly gourd spirit tree. Catching a glimpse of Su Fong's silence, Huang Lingyao deliberately ignited her invisible threat, ready to unleash it. She was baiting and guiding Su Fong's consciousness step by step. "Since you want to use me, why don't I use you too?" Coincidentally, my goal this time is also to deal with Prince Shue. After making up his mind, Su Fong immediately nodded to Huang Lingyao. "What's Senior Sister's plan? Didn't I come to see Brother Fong to discuss the details?" Huang Lingyao's expression also changed. She probably thought that Su Fong had been fooled. Prince Shue is very mysterious. This time, not only does he have the help of the sect to refine the heavenly gourd spirit tree, but he also has his own secret force. This is part of the plan. Prince Shue has been planning this for no less than 1,000 years. He probably has very powerful people helping him from behind. This time, Haicheng, you, and I will work together to deal with Prince Shue. We have confidence, especially you. Your current strength has already surpassed the three of us. Senior Sister Lan also wants to participate. Haicheng's strength has also been continuously breaking through recently. He can be considered an expert who has reached the peak of the catastrophe realm. He's not much weaker than me. With one more person, we have more confidence. Haicheng can become the key to the other details of our plan. That's all. I'll go to the Heavenly Gourd domain as soon as possible. Haicheng and I will wait for your notice at the Immortal Sealing Sect. When the time comes, we'll meet up with you at the Heavenly Gourd domain. Brother Fong, once we get rid of Prince Shue, you can rest easy. Goodbye. Huang Lingyao frowned. After bowing, she and Lan Haicheng flew off into the sky. Huang Lingyao's timing is a bit too good. After returning to the Heaven Crossing sect, Su Fong discussed with Li Ziqing. What he meant was that sister you hadn't returned yet, so it was best to wait a bit longer. Su Fong focused his attention on Li Haojie. Waiting for Sister Yu to return was the best option, but she hadn't returned yet. This meant that something was distracting her. It was best not to disturb her. Li Haojie. Thinking about how Li Haojie had killed the giant toad and was being chased by the immortal toad, Su Fong suddenly had an idea. He called Li Haojie to the main hall. "We're going to the heavenly gore domain." Li Haojie immediately became spirited. "My previous promise to brother Li can only be fulfilled now. I'm really sorry, but we'll first go to the heavenly gore domain and find a way to suppress the immortal toad. This way, not only will we help Brother Li solve his problem, but we'll also have a deeper understanding of the heavenly gore domain. We can use this to deal with Prince Shui and the Great Emperor Dipper. Brother Fong is too polite. I still have many things to learn from Brother Fong. I can also hear that Brother Fong wants to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Not only will you help me deal with the immortal toad, but you can also deal with your enemies. This is the best opportunity. Then we'll leave as soon as possible." After getting Li Haojie's approval, Su Fong looked at Li Ziqing again. "Senior, stay here and wait for Sister Yu. We'll first go to the heavenly gore domain to suppress the immortal toad. Once we succeed, we can set up a trap there. Who knows, we might be able to find a way to severely injure the Great Emperor Dipper." Li Ziqing finally agreed. "You must be careful. That immortal toad is very cunning. It's probably even stronger than the 9-segment Earth Dragon that you're suppressing. It's not without tricks for it to be able to stay in the heavenly gore domain for tens of thousands of years." Without further ado, Su Fong struck while the iron was hot. He called Dao Wuliang and Shu Shui to go with them to the heavenly gore domain. Although Li Haojie didn't have any good feelings towards demons, he reluctantly accepted them for Su Fong's sake. The 4 of them immediately flew out of the spirit mist domain and drove the heavenly ship towards the Zhuotian domain. Zhuotian domain. Celestial Sealing Sect. "Haicheng, you and I have successfully taken the first step. However, Su Fong is very extraordinary. He is a peerless giant behind him who can severely injure heartless Granny." Just as they returned to the Celestial Sealing Sect's dojo, Huang Lingyao entered the palace and complained to Lan Haicheng bitterly. "Anyway, it's been hard on you this time. Su Fong is also senior sister's friend. I can't bear to kill him. However, think about it. Even if I refuse the sect's mission, the sect will still send Prince Shui and Shang Changsheng to kill him. It won't change the outcome. At least, dying in our hands is still the best ending for him." Lan Haicheng was speechless. He just nodded from time to time. When Huang Lingyao was the only one left in the palace, her previous melancholy was instantly replaced by sternness. "Don't blame sister for being heartless. Blame yourself for not having me in your heart. There's only that damn Su Fong. You followed me for so many years, but you're not loyal to me at all. You went out with Su Fong several times to gain experience. When you came back, your cultivation and strength were constantly increasing at an astonishing rate. You never told me anything when I asked you. In fact, I've been waiting for you to take the initiative to tell me about your experience with Su Fong. You've disappointed me too much. Even if you really want to kill Su Fong this time, I will never allow it. There have been betrayals, even if it's your own sister. You died in your own hands. If you had listened to me, Su Fong would have been firmly in my hands long ago. The secret of him refining the aphrodisiac pill, the expert behind him, and his extraordinariness would have long been in my pocket. You only have yourself to blame. You and Su Fong are the same. Not only you, but also Prince Shui and Shang Changsheng. There is only the cold air from Huang Lingyao in the palace. Tianhu Domain. Several dangerous places in the Zhuotian Domain. After more than 100 years, Su Fong stepped into this place again. At that time, he was still a nameless disciple of the Celestial Sealing Sect. But now, he was a powerhouse whose name shook the entire Zhuotian Domain. The 4 of them came to the depths of the domain. The entrance to the real domain was filled with humid air. The 4 of them landed from midair. One-eyed giant toad. Li Haojie released one of the generals under the immortal toad in front of the 3 of them. The one-eyed giant toad turned into a one-eyed man and stood obediently beside Li Haojie. "Let me ask you," Su Fong said bluntly. "Before I ask you, I have to let you know that we must get the immortal toad. Without you, we have to make a move on him. But if you can help us suppress the old monster, I believe that we can give you freedom in the future." Li Haojie also promised in front of everyone, "Freedom is not a problem. You have to help me suppress the old toad." I understand." The one-eyed giant toad had no choice. "Tell us everything you know. If there is any way for us to suppress the old toad with the least loss, or if he has any weakness or is afraid of some power, you have to tell us." The immortal toad has more than a dozen powerful big goblin under his command. Each big goblin controls more than 100 different kinds of demon generals. There are more than 1,000 powerful big goblins under the immortal toad. What a good immortal toad! His strength is comparable to my White Sand Island, the rat commander exclaimed. "Now, bring us deep into the immortal toad's territory. On the way, tell us more of the old toad's secrets." After Li Haojie communicated with Su Fong, he gave a strict order. The one-eyed giant toad immediately brought the 4 of them into the abyss of the domain. Chapter 611. Returning to the abyss of the earth, everything looked different. "Look, please move." Releasing his full power, he could sense thousands of cultivators from the immortal realm to the catastrophe realm appearing in different areas of the abyss of the earth. There are also a few Ascension Realm cultivators. The Immortal Toad's Cave is called the Immortal Cave Palace. The one-eyed giant toad continued. The Immortal Cave Palace is built in the center of the earth between the abyss and the heavenly gourd tree. It is covered by many caves, underground forests, and monster trees. Without a special route, it is impossible to enter the Immortal Cave Palace. When they reached the depths of the abyss and avoided some powerful cultivators, the one-eyed giant toad led them into a cave canyon in the forest. There were canyons and caves. The heavenly gourd was so complicated that it was easy to get lost. Su Fong could sense the existence of the heavenly gourd tree from afar. The heavenly gourd tree was rooted here. It did not seem to have any aura, but as long as one used the world's origin to sense it, one could sense its spiritual energy and demonic aura. The heavenly gourd tree with demonic aura was not a spiritual object. This could not be confirmed. The heavenly gourd tree was both a spiritual object and a demonic creature. When Su Fong came here to snatch the heavenly gourd, he encountered those powerful monster trees. Every time the heavenly gourd appeared, the monster trees would attack and kill many humans. From this, the heavenly gourd tree must have demonic aura too. There were more caves in the canyon. As they went deeper into the caves, they saw more underground forests. It was difficult to distinguish the route. "We are going to the Immortal Cave Palace. If we go down this way, we will pass through the Mushroom Demon Forest guarded by more than 10 big goblin. There are many entrances to the Immortal Toad's Cave Palace. The Mushroom Demon Forest below is one of them. With so many of us, we will not be able to sneak through." After passing through more than 10 caves and canyons, the one-eyed giant toad slowed down and activated its demonic aura. An entrance was hidden below. Below the entrance was an underground forest. It was very clear. Li Haojie's eyes flashed with a strange light. There are indeed more than 10 big goblin. Dao Wuliang patted Shu Shuai's shoulder. "Let Shu Shuai dig a hole and go through it from the side. I think there's a hidden formation in the Mushroom Demon Forest. What if we trigger the formation when we dig a hole? Also, we're in a hurry. It's better for us to activate our divine power of origin and go straight through the forest." His suggestion was immediately rejected by Su Fong. With the help of the heavenly drilling rat, digging a hole was definitely feasible. In fact, Su Fong wanted Dao Wuliang and Shu Shuai to come to the heavenly gourd boundary as well. Letting the rat commander take action now was a waste of talent. Buzz! The instant space ring exploded with divine power and enveloped the group of people. The one-eyed giant toad brought everyone to the entrance hidden in the vine forest. Su Fong controlled the barrier. and the group quickly and silently passed through the entrance. There was a layer of barrier at the entrance, and it was easily fused with the origin energy. They passed through and arrived at the Mushroom Demon Forest. The Mushroom Demon Forest was actually the center of an underground space. It was a forest shaped like a mushroom. This place was filled with demonic chi, accompanied by some blood. It was indeed a dangerous place. If they were not in a hurry, Su Fang also planned to absorb these big goblin into the Xianwang Six Paths Pagoda. They just happened to lack a large number of commanders, and the Immortal Toad's demon generals were all good choices. After entering the forest, they saw a huge green-skinned snake coiled around the trunks of a few big trees. It looked like a huge vine. Li Haojie and Su Fang instantly discovered its true body. Its concealment was too perfect. Such a disguise was one with nature. Cultivators without special control over demonic chi would become the snake's food, even if they were in the catastrophe realm. They gradually came to the center of the forest. Not far away, there was a white-browed, flying-type big goblin. It was similar to the Black Fiend King. It was probably in a sleeping state and was motionless. There's no entrance. The group stopped at the center of the forest. There was an open lawn here, and there were 3 big trees. Other than that, there was nothing else. Dao Wuyong could not understand. Li Haojie also used his sensing ability to probe the demonic chi. Suddenly, he saw that the 3 big trees had a portion of demonic chi. Demonic trees. Su Fang's perfection ability was released without limit. Everything appeared clearly in front of him. The 3 big trees all had a certain amount of demonic chi. The demonic chi of the big tree in the center was the thickest. The demonic chi was on the verge of bursting out. It was because the demonic tree was cultivating and breathing in spiritual chi. He nodded to the group. It is indeed a demonic tree that has become a demonic tree. The Cyclops Toad's entrance is on one of the big trees. It used a camouflage technique, using its own skin color to change the color of the ground. In fact, the entrance is right in front of the big tree in the center. The Cyclops Toad also confirmed his words. Fortunately, it was just a camouflage technique. Su Fang activated his origin. Under the vision of perfection, he protected the group and quietly passed through the entrance in front of the demonic tree. Below them was another geocentric canyon. The demonic chi in the canyon was also very thick. It seemed that this complex geocentric space was almost all the big goblins' territory. After a few more shuttles, suddenly the Cyclops Toad brought everyone to another geocentric space. What appeared in front of them was a big tree. The big tree grew in the center of the canyon. It was surrounded by fog, and the situation in the canyon could not be seen with the naked eye. The big tree was purplish-red. Its leaves were fat, and the tree was tall. It almost covered half of the canyon. The Cyclops Toad introduced, "This is the 1,000-purple tree monster. It has lived for tens of thousands of years. It is a real demonic tree. Its strength is close to the wing transformation realm. However, it could not transform into a human form. Therefore, it could only dominate this canyon. Later, it was easily suppressed by the Immortal Toad and became the guardians of the Immortal Toad's cave. This is the first time I have seen this kind of demonic tree. The demonic tree that I saw in the Tianhu boundary was the lowest level. Li Haojie was attracted by the demonic tree. The Cyclops Toad continued, "This is troublesome. There is a formation in the canyon. It was set up by the Immortal Toad and fused with the 1,000-purple tree monster. It originally controlled the entrance of this passage. It will definitely not leave any gaps for us to pass through. Its branches and leaves are everywhere. It is like a big net blocking us. Indeed, this canyon is the 1,000-purple tree monster's training ground. It is impossible to pass through quietly. There is only one way. I will go and suppress it." Su Fang's gaze sharpened as he glanced at the others. Everyone seemed to think that this was the most effective method. "Do you need my help? Since it is a demonic tree, it will not be able to do anything." Li Haojie, who was a demonic beast hunter, whispered, "You will provide support from the outside. If I am unable to completely suppress it, you will take action. You must not let it leak any information. If the immortal toad knows that we are here, it will be the same as entering his encirclement. Okay, everyone, be careful. After the discussion, Su Fong activated his instant space ring and immediately flew toward the canyon. Li Haojia slowly advanced behind him. Soon, he arrived in front of the 1,000 Purple Tree Monster. It seemed that the tree monster was still sleeping. The 1,000 Purple Tree Monster is a wood big goblin. I have the dragon subduing wood, so I can silently use my wood ability to hide myself. Combined with the Xianwang 6-path pagoda's wood divine aura, I will definitely be able to suppress it. After thinking about his advantages, he immediately activated his divine aura and entered his divine aura state. The Xianwang 6-path pagoda began to be activated. The dragon subduing wood in his left hand was also activated. His divine aura began to surge. Su Fong's aura underwent an absolute change. His aura actually merged with the canyon. He was no longer a human. After adapting to the aura here, Su Fong absorbed some of the 1,000 Purple Tree Monster's aura and spiritual qi. Then, he easily passed through a sensing formation and arrived in front of the 1,000 Purple Tree Monster. The 1,000 Purple Tree Monster did not discover him. As Su Fong continued to approach, he discovered that there was a hole in the trunk of the 1,000 Purple Tree Monster. From the hole, he could see the canyon behind. This was the passage. The old toad immortal is amazing. His divine ability is too powerful. The 9 segments Earth Dragon is equally famous as him, but the Earth Dragon Palace is not even a third of the old toad immortal's cave palace. No wonder countless experts can't do anything to the old toad immortal. As he slowly approached the hole, he stopped breathing. Suddenly, he was shocked and hid in the fog at the side. He wants us to go out of the spirit sect ruins to catch the human who killed young Toad. We have already searched many places in the Zhuotian realm. This is a tough job. Every time we go out, it takes a long time. The old toad immortal has a decree. We have no choice but to obey. 3 figures emitting demon aura floated out from the depths of the hole. It turned out that they were the 3 big goblin middle-aged men. They looked listless, as if they were taking a stroll. When Su Fong heard that they were going to catch Li Haojia, he secretly informed them. Li Haojia was hiding in the periphery. These monsters did not know that the human they were chasing had taken the initiative to come to them. After the monsters left, Su Fong immediately entered the tree hole and came to the passage in the center of the 1,000 Purple Tree Monster. He felt its breathing, and where the demon aura was, he began to activate his divine power. His entire body turned into a green bean-sized spirit light and was absorbed into the natural tree patterns of the 1,000 Purple Tree Monster. After sticking to the tree trunk, he began to absorb the 1,000 Purple Tree Monsters with demon aura from the outside. Through his left hand and the Xianwang 6 Paths Pagoda, the tree monster's power surged into his body. Su Fong felt that his body was full of vitality. He was overjoyed. The wood demon aura is actually the life spirit aura. As long as the demon aura is purified, most of it will be wood essence. After absorbing to a certain extent, he hid the evil power from the night spirit sect, the blood hell wolf smoke, in the wood spirit aura and released it again. The aura was hidden in the wood spirit aura and injected into the 1,000 Purple Tree Monster's body, allowing it to absorb it. Su Fong sneered. Now I understand how low the tree monster is among the demon race. After cultivating for tens of thousands of years, not only can they not take human form, but their senses are also so weak. No wonder the Tianhu spirit tree has existed for tens of thousands of years and can ascend and leave this small world. True demon blood plate. He activated another aura and wrapped it in wood spirit aura, which was greedily absorbed by the 1,000 Purple Tree Monster. The true demon blood plate was hidden inside. Su Fong activated his sensing power and felt that the wood spirit aura wrapped in the blood hell wolf smoke had almost seeped into most of the 1,000 Purple Tree Monster's meridians. The true demon blood plate was also gradually approaching the 1,000 Purple Tree Monster's consciousness. He could sense that the 1,000 purple tree monster's consciousness was near the crown of the tree. A few days later, the true demon blood plate finally arrived above the 1,000 purple tree monster's mind, and the blood hell wolf smoke had also seeped into every corner of the 1,000 purple tree monster. If it was the power of a cultivator that had not been refined and fused, it would have appeared immediately. Unfortunately, the 1,000 purple tree monster did not have too many divine abilities. It would take many years for it to appear. True demon blood plate, shackle the consciousness. Blood hell wolf smoke explode. When the time was right, Su Fong communicated with Li Haojia and activated the true demon blood plate and the blood hell wolf smoke with all his strength. Bang! The 1,000 purple tree monster's body trembled strangely. The true demon blood plate's ability to shackle the essence soul came out, and the 1,000 purple tree monster was unprepared. It turned into a huge ring of demonic chi and instantly covered the 1,000 purple tree monster's mind. A large amount of blood hell wolf smoke also broke free from the wood spirit aura and exploded in the 1,000 purple tree monster's meridians. Chapter 6:12. From the outside, because the canyon was covered in fog, only some strange sounds could be heard. The fog covered most of the 10,000 purple tree monster, and one could vaguely see the tree crown shaking slightly. Big goblin like you is just a delicious meal to me. The true demon blood plate and blood hell wolf smoke exploded at the same time and engulfed the entire tree monster with absolute power. Human, I will tear you apart. Such a despicable and cunning human. The tree monster's primordial spirit was shackled by the true demon blood plate. A purple figure appeared. It was unclear, but it was certain that it was the young infant of the 10,000 purple tree monster. It had cultivated for tens of thousands of years, but it was not as strong as a human's young infant. The tree monster's young infant roared angrily and violently. It struggled and burned with a terrifying demonic aura. The demonic aura was a special big goblin. It was more powerful than normal demonic aura. Its devouring power, corrosive power, and restraining power were all different. The 10,000 purple tree monster had cultivated for tens of thousands of years. Its young infant and mystical abilities were not as good as those big goblin, but its power had been condensed into demonic aura. It was something that most monsters could not compare to. It wanted to deal with the true demon blood plate and suppress the blood hell wolf smoke in its body. Su Fong immediately released his wood elemental divine aura and entered the 10,000 purple tree monster's body. He was still only the size of a bean. Under the divine aura, he quickly arrived above the true demon blood plate. TSK. TSK. The true demon blood plate was the supreme treasure of the demonic Tao in the mortal world. It was extremely powerful and specialized in shackling the young infant. The tree monster's young infant released demonic aura from below. It was as if it was swallowing clouds and spitting out fog. It was so terrifying, but it could not shake the true demon blood plate at all. Tree monster, it is easy for me to kill you. Do you think that my blood hell wolf smoke did not completely devour your body because you are very powerful? Since you are not obedient, watch how I will devour your power alive. Dragon subduing wood, divine aura, supreme devouring. The 10,000 purple tree monster had clearly been suppressed, but it was still not satisfied. Suppression. There were only two outcomes. The suppressed would give up resisting and submit. As for the other group of people, they were like the 10,000 purple tree monsters. They were unwilling to accept being suppressed and continued to resist. In the end, their only ending was death. Su Fong unleashed his wood elemental godly might. His eyes flashed with ruthlessness as he sneered. I'm just about to break through to the third stage of the catastrophe realm. Since I'm not strong enough, I'll absorb the immense power of your demonic tree. It should be enough for me to increase my strength quite a bit in a short time. His goal was not to kill the 10,000 purple tree monster. If he killed it, there would be no one guarding the passage to the old immortal's cave palace. It would definitely be discovered by the immortal toad subordinates. After the explosion of Xian Wang's Six Paths Pagoda's innate divine power, Su Fang's body entered a complete innate state. When he activated his left arm, the dragon taming wood began to explode. The 5 fingers of his left hand transformed into tree branches, and he reached out to grab the monster tree's demonic chi, absorbing it into his fingers and palm. The 10,000 purple trent's primordial spirit Yang Soul was constantly counterattacking the true demon blood plate, so it didn't notice that the monster energy was decreasing. This was because it simply couldn't understand how someone could recklessly absorb monster energy. Just like that, the vitality monster energy was absorbed by the dragon taming wood's left arm. A large amount of monster energy entered his body and was refined. As for his left arm, starting from the 5 fingers, it began to transform into tree branches. His left palm and the back of his hand turned into the shape of tree bark. His entire left hand looked like it was covered with 5 radishes. When Su Fang discovered this miraculous transformation, he was also shocked. It was hard to explain. Ever since he fused with the dragon taming wood, he had never activated it to absorb wood elemental energy. Most of the time, he used it to recover his vitality and physical body. But now, after absorbing the wood elemental monster energy of the 10,000 purple trant, his left arm was gradually transforming into the shape of a trant. When he looked again, the small arm below his left palm was also beginning to transform into a lifelike tree bark. During this period of time, the rate at which he absorbed the energy of the 10,000 purple trant became more and more astonishing. It seemed that the strange transformation of his left arm was actually beneficial for him to absorb energy. When the tree transformation reached his wrist and arm, the tree transformation completely slowed down. Su Fang thought that this frightening transformation had stopped, but it wasn't over yet. Squeak, squeak. As he absorbed more and more wood elemental monster energy, Su Fang clearly felt that his own strength had doubled and was still increasing. The monster energy of the 10,000 purple trant was also very abundant. It was estimated that it was comparable to 10 big goblins of the same cultivation level and strength. The 10,000 purple trant was not an ordinary big goblin. Its body was huge and had countless roots. Every root and leaf contained an astonishing amount of wood elemental monster energy. Suddenly, an inexplicable sound came from his left arm. Taking a closer look, it was actually his 5 fingers. At this time, tender shoots were growing out of them. As if spring had arrived, all living things were flourishing. The plants buried underground began to grow and burrow out of the ground. The changes in his fingers were just like that. Many tender shoots grew out of his 5 fingers, and gradually, leaves began to grow one after another. Although the leaves were not big, they grew to cover an area of 3 feet. Astonishingly, at this time, Su Fang also seemed to have become a trant. Most of it was a human body, but his left arm and wrist had become a real trent's shape. The trent's primordial spirit that was suppressed by the true demon blood plate trembled in panic. You want to swallow me alive? What kind of monster are you? Who asked you not to submit? Then I can only suppress you. Su Fang immediately communicated with the divine image Jade Annulus, hoping to get an explanation. Yuer said, Master, I carefully sense the aura of your left arm. The dragon taming wood is a spiritual treasure of heaven and earth. It can only be found by chance. There are very few of them. You is also seeing it for the first time. Just now, when Master absorbed the 10,000 purple trents wood elemental monster energy to your left arm, the life aura of the dragon taming wood did not follow Master's absorption of wood elemental monster energy. What does this mean? Fortunately, Su Fang had a Tao artifact in his body. He was eager to know the reason. The tree transformation of the dragon taming wood's left arm is not a bad thing. It is not the so-called demonic transformation. When a monster transforms from a human into a big goblin, it is usually called demonic transformation. The biggest characteristic of demonic transformation is that once you enter the demonic transformation state, your monster energy cannot be hidden. It will completely burst out. Not only will there be monster energy, but there will also be monster energy and evil energy. Right now, the Dragon Taming Wood's left arm does not have any monster energy or evil energy. This should belong to the legendary spiritualization. Spiritualization. Su Fong heard this for the first time and was confused. The world of cultivation was big and mysterious. Even immortals could only peek at a few things. Yuer explained, spiritualization is when a spiritual being cultivates or activates a divine ability. It changes its form and true chi. For example, the sky snow flying raccoon's transformation between its monster and human form is spiritualization of its physical body. On a deeper level, it is true chi spiritualization. The change in Master's left arm should be spiritualization, not demonic transformation. How will spiritualization and demonic transformation affect me? Su Fong urgently asked. Demonic transformation is the same as berserk. It is incomparably dangerous for Master. However, spiritualization is different. There is no monster energy or evil energy. Master can obtain some of the spiritual being's power through spiritualization. If you continue spiritualizing, Master's physical body might spiritualize into a tree. However, I estimate that only when you reach the level of an immortal can you transform from human into a spirit tree. Spiritualization is an ability that only spiritual beings have. Only when Master grasps spiritualization can you use the Dragon Taming Wood's ability. Master, look, after spiritualizing your left arm, didn't it absorb the 10,000 purple trees' strange energy and increase its strength by several times? That is indeed the case. In that case, spiritualization is harmful to me. You can't say for sure. Spiritualization is a great divine ability that many cultivators pursue. However, Yuer has never met a cultivator who can spiritualize. Master is the first one. As for the future, Yuer can't say for sure. I can only feel the benefits of spiritualization. In spiritualization, I can feel the Dragon Taming Wood's astonishing suction force. After spiritualization, my left arm can clearly sense the wood element's energy. My life force is also in an abundant state. However, I don't know why I can spiritualize all of a sudden. There are 3 reasons. First is the Dragon Taming Wood. Second is that Master's cultivation has reached a certain level and has the ability to activate the hidden power of your physical body. The human body is the most mysterious. It needs to constantly unlock its potential. Spiritualization might be the reason why Master's potential is unlocked. Lastly, it is because of the 10,000 purple tree. Perhaps this tree demon has some unusual power that stimulated spiritualization. I don't care about it. Right now, I just need to quickly subdue this tree demon and absorb most of its energy. Right now, my strength is close to the peak of the 3rd layer of the Calamity Realm. I estimate that after absorbing most of the tree demon's true energy, I will be able to reach the peak of the 3rd layer of the Calamity Realm. Then, I will be able to break through to the 4th layer. Once again, he activated his divine aura. Su Fong saw the green leaves growing on his left arm. At this moment, they seemed to be growing slightly. Moreover, each leaf was increasing the absorption of the 10,000 purple trees' energy. For Su Fong, he never imagined that his strength would reach the peak of the 3rd layer of the Calamity Realm in such a short time, just because he had devoured the tree demon's energy. The tree demon had lost more than half of its true energy. Its Yuan spirit was constantly withering, but it was still arrogant. Human, you're courting death. This old immortal will not let you go. It will definitely not let you go. With your current strength, I can't deal with you. However, this old immortal can crush you with a single finger. It's a pity that I've devoured a lot of your energy. Your consciousness is no longer the same as before. I have absolute confidence in suppressing you and uprooting you. True demonic blood plate, shackle the Yuan spirit. At this moment, since the 10,000 purple tree had lost its energy and its Yuan spirit was mostly wiped out by the true demonic blood plate, it was time. Under the activation of the true demonic blood plate, a supreme demonic aura suddenly burst out. Like a cage, it surrounded the young, nascent soul of the 10,000 purple tree. Human, you're courting death. The young, nascent soul was completely shackled by the demonic aura and imprisoned under the true demonic blood plate shackles. I've finally shackled the tree demon. However, I still need to take this opportunity to absorb more energy. While transmitting his voice to Li Haojia, Dao Wuyang, and Shu Shuai, he continued to absorb the 10,000 purple trees' energy. ZZ. Among the countless roots of the 10,000 purple tree that had pierced into the earth's core, one of them extended from the center of the 10,000 purple tree and entered the earth. This root was blood red in color and contained demonic aura. Most of it did not belong to the 10,000 purple tree. At this moment, apart from this special root, the other roots had lost their demonic aura and were just like ordinary tree roots. However, the blood-red root shook slightly. From the part where it came into contact with the 10,000 purple tree, a mysterious burning power suddenly appeared. The burning power quickly followed the blood-red root and extended deep into the earth. After drilling for 1,000 meters, it passed through a large number of sturdy boundaries filled with demonic aura. Behind the demonic aura boundaries was a crouching toad mountain. The toad mountain was tall and majestic. The space in the Earth's core was filled with shocking demonic aura. Upon closer inspection, a large portion of the toad mountain's peak was like a toad's mouth that was wide open. This giant toad mountain was, in fact, a carved toad mountain with its mouth wide open. It meant that this carved toad wanted to swallow the world. Its majesty was limitless. Chapter 613. Just like that, Toad Mountain sat in the silent and cold core of the earth. It was surrounded by a forest. Underground, that blood-colored root transformed into burning divine power. It passed through the ground and directly drilled into the interior of Toad Mountain. ZZ. The blood-colored root continued to burn and soon reached the interior of Toad Mountain. With its chi sound, the blood-colored root penetrated the floor of an underground palace. Immediately, a barrier appeared. After the burning divine power entered the barrier, a huge foot suddenly appeared. It should be the left foot of a toad. It was estimated to be 1 zhang long. The burning divine power wrapped around the left foot. After it was completely burned, it formed a burning circle. It turned out that this was a strange and magical divine power shackle. It was planted in the depths of the 10,000 purple tree monster, then secretly came to Toad Mountain and connected with this huge foot. It was obvious that the changes in the 10,000 purple tree monster above were transmitted to the huge foot. This is the first time the shackle that old immortal hid under the 10,000 purple tree monster's origin has been touched. This means that the 10,000 purple tree monster is being controlled by an expert. A hoarse old man's voice came from the barrier where the huge foot was located. Hua hua hua. The door of the underground palace suddenly opened. More than 10 figures with demonic aura flashed in. Greetings, old immortal. They were big goblin in human form. Any one of them was as strong as the Sky Snow Lion and Sky Snow Flying Raccoon. Although the big goblin looked like a human, its every action was rough and violent. It was obvious that it was not an ordinary human. It was dressed in all kinds of clothes. Most of them were wearing armor. The hoarse old man's voice came from the space under the huge foot. There's a problem with the passage guarded by the 10,000 purple tree monster. How did old immortal know that the 10,000 purple tree monster appeared? He would always inform us immediately. Could it be the 10,000 purple tree monster? It probably met an opponent that was difficult to deal with and was controlled by the opponent. It was unable to inform us in time. Immediately bring the experts to surround the passage. Don't let anyone live. Yes, old immortal. Just wait for my good news. The big goblin bowed and received the order. They immediately left the underground palace. They waited for a moment on the mountainside outside the underground palace. The surrounding rocks, the ground, the sky, and the forest all began to move. Rustle. They disappeared into the space under the ground. The 10,000 purple tree monster guarding the passage. Is the old immortal cave palace below? We have to be careful. My grandfather told me about the old toad immortal. He said that this big goblin doesn't even recognize the demon race. Killing is his second nature. Dao Wuyong and Shu Shuai flew to the front of the tree monsters and met up with Li Haojia. The three of them passed through the fog and saw the tree hole in the depths. After entering the tree hole, some roots suddenly grew out of the inner tree wall, forming a hole. When they entered the tree hole inside the tree monster's body, they saw Su Fong sitting cross-legged on top of the true devil blood plate. His spiritualized left arm was crazily devouring the tree monster's power. Demonization. Seeing Su Fong's left arm, Li Haojia's heart instantly turned cold. Dao Wuyong and Shu Shuai also saw the changes. Shu Shuai shook his head and said, "It's not the monster transformation. If it was the monster transformation, it would have the natural ferocious aura of a monster. On the contrary, it would have a shocking spiritual qi." It seemed that Shu Shuai, as a sky drill mouse, also had extraordinary abilities. He could see a side that Dao Wuyong and Li Haojia couldn't. Dao Wuyong frowned and didn't dare to get close to Su Fong. Could it be the legendary spiritualization? That leafy left arm is filled with wood-type energy. Is it the spiritualization of absorbing the tree monsters? Su Fong looked at them peacefully and said, "Everyone, don't worry. I'm not Bai Kuang, nor am I demonized. It's the spiritualization that Dao Wuyong mentioned. Everyone, wait for a moment." Who knew that the entire tree would suddenly start to shake? Su Fong wasn't the only one who felt that something was wrong. Li Haojia, Dao Wuyong, and Shu Shuai also felt that something was wrong. A black coffin suddenly appeared in Li Haojia's eyes. His aura was also different. There's so much demonic aura coming from the surroundings and the ground. What's going on? We've probably been discovered by the old toad immortal. Shu Shuai shouted in shock. There are more than 40 big goblins surrounding us from all directions. The old toad immortal must have discovered us. We wanted to sneak into the old toad immortal's cave, but we were discovered so quickly. Should we fight or run? It's too late to run now. We've already been surrounded. We have to fight our way out. You guys help me block for a while. Since we've been discovered, there's no reason to keep this myriad purple tree alive. I want to completely suppress it, absorb it into my body, and refine it alive. All right, let's go out and deal with the big goblin. Other than Su Fong, the other three immediately flew out of the tree hole. Swish, swish, swish. The three of them stood back to back and arrived at the top of the myriad purple tree. At this moment, the fog was suddenly split apart by a violent demonic wind. Numerous humanoid big goblins surrounded them. They flew to the surroundings of the canyon and began to demonize, turning into their true forms. There were tigers, lions, elephants, and turtles. There were also several stone golems and tree monsters. These big goblins were not only huge, but their demonic auras were also soaring to the sky. Most of them weren't as strong as the heavenly snow lion or the heavenly snow flying raccoon, but there were still some who were stronger. They didn't say anything and directly charged at the three of them. Below the myriad purple tree, some strange leaves and branches appeared. It was actually two tree monsters that charged out from ground. Boom! Inside the myriad purple tree, Su Fong pointed his finger, and the true demon blood plate shook up and down. The young nascent demonic qi that was shackling the myriad purple tree exploded. The myriad purple tree's young nascent soul was shattered and burned to death. The demonic tree that had cultivated for tens of thousands of years ended in Su Fong's hands just like that. After freeing himself, Su Fong's left arm emitted a dazzling green light. Come into my dragon taming with space. Whoosh! The true qi, demonic blood, and tree trunk inside the myriad purple tree were sucked into Su Fong's left arm like a gas. The myriad purple tree was like an illusory, demonic qi state, but it wasn't real. It was easily sucked into Su Fong's left arm. Without the young nascent soul, The myriad purple tree was just an object without a consciousness. Absorbing, it was naturally a piece of cake for Su Fong. Moreover, he was in a state where the dragon-taming wood's ability was activated. Tut tut tut. While panting, most of the myriad purple tree's body was sucked into Su Fong's left arm. The demonic tree that was dozens of feet tall was now only left with its roots. The terrifying suction force pulled the myriad purple tree out of the ground by its roots, causing the ground to crack. He actually absorbed the myriad purple tree king. Kill him. The leaves and branches that suddenly grew out of the ground and around the roots that were pulled out from the broken ground and broken rocks actually spoke. Oh! Su Fong heard the commotion and looked down. There were actually 2 myriad purple tree demons that were rapidly growing. Soon, they turned into 2 treants that were dozens of feet tall. Chi! Chi! They didn't hold back. After the 2 myriad purple tree demons turned into treants, they pulled their hands, and countless branches shot out from the ground. These branches were as fast and sharp as swords, and they emitted an indestructible power. It was as if they could pierce Su Fong into a hornet's nest if they hit him. Illusory fire cloud saber. He flipped his hand and pressed down. With Su Fong's current strength, he had already reached the peak of perfection compared to before. Countless burning clouds turned into saber fire and fell around Su Fong. Whoosh! The fire cloud saber fire completely exploded on top of a large area of branches. After the explosion, it was like a burning wave covering the branches of the demon tree. Creak! This was not the azure, fiendish true flame of the immortal ceiling gate. That kind of mortal true flame naturally couldn't do anything to the 2 myriad purple tree demons. The illusory fiendish cloud was different. It burned a large area of the tree branches to dust, scattering them like ashes. You dare to fight against me? Since you're here, I'll suppress you. You're not even comparable to the myriad purple tree demons. You'll all become my strength. Su Fong's left arm shook. The myriad purple tree demons had been completely sucked into the dragon-taming wood. Su Fong suddenly flashed like thunder. He was too fast. He passed through the flaming cloud saber fire, passing through the ashes and the remaining branches. He immediately saw the 2 myriad purple tree demons screaming in pain. Run! The 2 myriad purple tree demons were smart and crafty. Just from the fact that they could transform themselves into myriad purple tree demons, it was clear that their intelligence wasn't simple. Chi! However, the myriad purple tree demons' method of movement was to escape through the earth. They weren't like the celestial drill rat. The myriad purple tree demons directly used their roots to escape through the earth. As for the celestial drill rat, it dug holes. Su Fong was a step faster. He arrived below the 2 myriad purple tree demons and spread his arms. His flaming cloud wings exploded, and Su Fong flew past most of the tree demon's branches. Most of the branches of the 2 treants fell to the ground. Su Fong unleashed 2 seals that transformed into 2 huge hands that grabbed the roots of the treants, as well as their trunks. Profound yellow tree. The 2 myriad purple tree demons attacked as well. Their branches turned into whips that attacked Su Fong's defenses over and over again. However, they were unable to break through his defenses or injure his physical body. On the contrary, a gold and silver pagoda appeared above Su Fong's head. Buzz! Buzz! The Xianwang 6 Paths pagoda instantly expanded to dozens of meters in size. The first pagoda door opened, and the supreme might of a magical treasure was released. Su Fong pulled with his arms, and the 2 myriad purple tree demons were sucked into the pagoda door. Whoosh! Several big goblins charged out from the clouds. They had noticed something strange. Perhaps it was the 2 big goblins, and they had asked their companions for help. Several gusts of demonic wind and demonic flames attacked Su Fong. You big goblin's strength isn't bad. If a mortal toad wants you to kill us, he'll suffer a double loss. Su Fong immediately activated his instant space ring when he saw the various attacks. He released the dragon snake tornado that he had created in the past. It transformed into a terrifying tornado. A series of explosions scattered the big goblin's attacks. Boom! The Xianwang's 6 paths pagoda's pagoda doors suddenly closed. The 2 myriad purple tree demons were unlucky. They were suppressed by Su Fong just like that. What awaited them was not becoming a small commander, but being swallowed alive. Su Fong immediately used his flaming cloud wings and flew up from the bottom of the canyon. When he was in the air, he secretly transmitted his voice. Everyone, retreat while suppressing these monsters. If you can capture them alive, leave them to me. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, the golden sky drill rat shadow and its strange golden tail wrapped around a heavily injured big goblin and threw it toward Su Fong. Whoosh! A pagoda door appeared in front of the big goblin. The big goblin was directly thrown into the pagoda door formed by the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. Dao Wuyong did not hold back. Sword Qi shot out from his eyes and almost killed a big goblin. He let out a loud fart and used his innate ability to trap 3 big goblins. His demonic Qi also heavily injured the 3 big goblins. Su Fong was being chased by some big goblin. He was swept into the air. The pagoda door instantly opened, and the 3 big goblins were sucked into the pagoda door. The 4 of them immediately fled. Those big goblins turned back into their human forms. This way, they were even faster. They began to form a straight line and chased after them. After a while, Shu Shuai suddenly used his innate ability and created a tunnel. The 4 of them immediately escaped into the depths of the tunnel. Those big goblins chased after them. Some of them were also drilling holes. However, most of them could not catch up to them. Chapter 614. Among those big goblin, there are some who have the ability to burrow into ground, but they're not even 1/10 as good as me. 1 hour later, following the directions given by the one-eyed giant toad, the 4 of them appeared in an underground forest near the old immortal's cave palace. Li Haojie released the one-eyed giant toad from the Yuan, suppressing demon, transforming heavenly book, and asked coldly, "Will the old immortal toad discover this place?" Yes, I think it will take less than 2 hours. The one-eyed giant toad was so scared that it almost died. Hearing this, everyone held their breaths. Don't worry about this. Our original plan was to enter the old immortal's cave palace step by step, then ambush the old immortal toad and take it down. Su Fong gestured for everyone to sit down and said, "Now that our original plan is useless, it is impossible for us to sneak in and ambush the old immortal's cave palace. Since we came here this time, we must take down the old immortal toad. Why don't we take the initiative to kill it? This way we can catch it off guard." Shu Shuai asked, "How do we kill the old immortal toad? It is very powerful and has thousands of subordinates." "Let's split up. Brother Li and I will be in charge of killing our way into the old immortal's cave palace and suppress the old immortal toad together. You and Dao Wuyong will lure the big goblin away. Now, the old immortal toad will definitely send people to find us. When there are not many big goblin left inside, it will be our best chance. This chance is also very risky." Li Haojie suddenly said, "Why don't we forget about it this time? Next time, when we are stronger, we will deal with the old immortal toad. You and I don't have to be afraid of the old immortal toad. You and I both have our own methods to suppress it. Also, I have many small commanders, especially the Vermilion Emperor and the 9-section Earth Dragon. Once they come out, they can definitely hold the old immortal toad back." "Okay, it's decided then." Li Haojie also strengthened his confidence, and the 4 continued to rest. Not long after, there were indeed big goblin approaching this space. Su Fong explained the details of the plan to Dao Wuyong and Shu Shuai, then flew to the other side of the forest with Li Haojie. "Dao Wuyong, although the old immortal toad, we're still the big goblin. You and I will help the humans to suppress it." "The old immortal toad," Shuai said, "the old immortal toad if the big goblin, the immortal toad is immortal toad. With the old immortal's cave palace coming out in full force, Su Fong probably won't be able to get what he wants. If he gets killed by the old immortal toad instead, our lives will be in danger as well. For the sake of humanity, Is it worth it for us to give up our lives? To me, it's not about whether it's worth it or not. To be able to fight against the immortal toad, who in the Jotian realm can do that. This is the best opportunity for you and me. If our lives are really in danger, just use your earth-burrowing ability and escape. At that time, Su Fong will forgive us and won't blame us for not putting in effort. Iman, you don't know what he's capable of, but I know that you were once suppressed by him, and your body is also shackled by him. You and I can use this chance to kill the old immortal toad. That way, you will regain your freedom and won't be led by the nose. We are sworn brothers, so I naturally want to protect you. How will you become a goblin immortal in the future if you are shackled by the humans? If there is such a chance, it won't be too late to say it then. Since I've already said so, I can cooperate with Su Fong, but I definitely won't trust him. Look at how he is dealing with the demons he suppressed. He also has a demon catcher by his side. Demon catchers are untrustworthy people. If they can kill the old immortal toad, they can also deal with you and me in the future. I can tolerate Su Fong, but that demon catcher. Dao Wuyong and Shu Shuai were whispering to each other as they left the geocentric forest. Dao Wuyong was very conflicted and hesitant. Shu Shuai, on the other hand, had an indifferent expression. Dao Wuyong, Su Fong, who had just passed through the forest and entered another underground space, had been secretly pushing his power to the max. He just happened to hear the conversation between Dao Wuyong and Shu Shuai. Ever since the incident with the Vermilion Emperor, Su Fong had been wary of both humans and demons, especially demons. At that time, it wasn't just the Vermilion Emperor who had betrayed him. None of the junior commanders persisted and chose to be loyal to him. What did this mean? Li Haojia landed on a mossy rock. Brother Fong, several waves of demonic qi are coming. I have already sensed the location of the old immortal toad's cave. I'll take this chance to sneak into the cave and wait for Dao Wuyong and Shu Shuai to respond. Then, I'll make my move on the old immortal toad. Su Fong's thunder lightning flashed. After speaking to Li Haojia, he flew deeper into the cave. Just as the four of them were hiding, more than 10 big goblin rushed over. Their demonic qi swept through the cave, and every corner was under their detection. Boom! In the opposite direction of Su Fong and Li Haojia, a tremor came from the ground. More than 10 big goblin immediately chased after them. Old Immortal Toad's cave. After searching for a while and passing through several caves, Su Fong and Li Haojia hid in the vines. In front of them was the Toad Mountain. The two of them glanced at it and felt a very strong demonic qi. Other than the old Immortal Toad's cave, there was no other place with demonic qi. Just then, more than 10 big goblin flew out from the mouth of the Toad Mountain and left this cold, underground space. Li Haojia's eyes surged with a mysterious luster. My origin-suppressing and demonic heavenly book's origin spirit told me the exact location of the old immortal toad. It's in the center of the Toad Mountain. The old monster has already passed all his tribulations and is much stronger than the 9-segment Earth Dragon. This is the first time I've felt such a terrifying demonic qi. Su Fong said, I have the 9-segment Earth Dragon and the Zhu Emperor, these two great experts. It won't be a problem for us to fight against the old monster. If we want to suppress him, we'll have to rely on our methods. It's best to leave the old monster alive. If we can suppress such a big goblin, we could be considered to have a foothold in the mortal realm. I wanted to kill it, but you reminded me. As a demon catcher, all demons are targeting me. The old immortal toad can indeed be used as a shield to protect me. I can also vaguely sense the location of the old immortal toad. It's better if I take the initiative to sneak attack him and enter his dojo. When I'm locked in battle with him, you can use the origin-suppressing and demonic heavenly book. You're much stronger than me. Only you can do this. Wait for my news. After discussing for a while, Su Fong activated his origin. He hid his aura in his original life form and quickly flew out of the cave. Unfortunately, just as he arrived outside the cave, a strong barrier blocked his path. He then activated the divine image jade annulus. After a few dozen breaths, he borrowed the power of the Tao artifact and entered the cave. Toad Mountain, Old Immortal Cave Palace. The Old Immortal Toad was indeed the king of this place. In this underground forbidden area, he could instantly freeze the space and build such a shocking dojo. After getting closer, he carefully sensed that there were hundreds of big goblin around the dojo mountain. He secretly let Dao Wuliang continue to create a big commotion. After a while, there were indeed some big goblin that flew out of the space from 3 different directions. In the end, there were still more than 300 big goblin hibernating near the dojo mountain. It seemed like the Old Immortal Toad was really cunning. He just didn't want to use these big goblin. I'll give him my all this time. Hundreds of big goblin and the Old Immortal Toad. They were really going all out. Fortunately, he and Li Haojia were born to suppress the monster race. Otherwise, even if there were 10 elders from the big factions, they wouldn't be able to shake the Old Immortal Cave Palace. They sneaked into the mountainside along the forest. When they arrived at the peak of the mouth and looked down at the entire cave, they felt like they were stepping on the mountains and rivers. It could be seen that the Old Immortal Toad was the absolute ruler here. The cave inside the mouth didn't look like a natural cave at all. It was a lifelike tunnel created according to the Old Immortal Toad's body. There were many caves around, and almost all of them had big goblin hibernating. The monster chi was too strong. It was constantly corroding Su Fang's defense. Fortunately, he had his life treasure to suppress it. Otherwise, he would be discovered by the big goblin. Activating the instant space ring, his aura was perfectly hidden. When he arrived at the bottom, it was a square. There were statues of the Old Immortal Toad everywhere. There was a toad palace in the depths. The monster chi inside was enough to destroy anything. It was most likely the Old Immortal Toad. It wasn't unreasonable for the Old Immortal Toad to be able to stand here for tens of thousands of years. This place, coupled with the harsh environment outside, was already a barrier that was difficult for humans to cross. At this time, Su Fang had arrived at the Toad Palace. He climbed onto the roof and released his great perfection ability to sense everything inside carefully. Gradually, he heard a powerful heart thumping from time to time. Looking over, through the array in the palace, he saw a white-haired old man with giant feet sitting cross-legged in a barrier. He was actually fusing with a Tao artifact. This made Su Fang's heart skip a few times. The Old Immortal Toad was actually fusing with a Tao artifact. Master, the quality of that Tao artifact is average. It's similar to the Xinyuan Empire's Spirit Camel Immortal Cauldron. It's even worse than the Zhu Emperor's Wrath of the Monster God. You are sensed in his divine aperture. The Tao artifact isn't powerful, but with its strength, its destructive power is definitely above mine. Even the Zhu Emperor can't hurt it. The Old Immortal Toad can't hurt the Zhu Emperor either. The Zhu Emperor's strength is at the low level of the winged transformation realm. Although the Zhu Emperor's Wrath of the Monster God is an inherited Tao artifact, the Zhu Emperor can use a lot of its power. On the other hand, the Old Immortal Toad is fusing with a Tao artifact. It's not bad if he can use 30% of its power. An Immortal Sword Tao artifact. Fortunately, with the divine image Jade Annulus, he could roughly sense the difference in strength. Su Fang adjusted his breathing and calmed down. He stared at the Old Immortal Toad again. In front of it was a 1-foot-long black immortal sword. Although the quality wasn't outstanding, it was too terrifying when combined with its power. After hibernating for a day, the big goblin still didn't leave. In the end, Su Fang hammered his fist and decided to make a move. This time, even if there were thousands of soldiers and horses, they wouldn't be able to stop him from suppressing the Old Immortal Toad. Dao Wuliang transmitted his thoughts. I have already coordinated with Shu Shuai to lure the big goblin to a place far away from the Old Immortal's cave palace. After knowing the situation outside, Su Fang communicated with Li Haojia again. Li Haojia was also shocked when he found out that the Old Immortal Toad had a Tao artifact. The old monster's strength was beyond their expectations. Zhu Emperor, Our opponent this time is the old immortal toad. You should know how powerful it is. Use all your strength to secretly activate the demon god's wrath. I will definitely use all my strength to deal with the old monster. Activate the demon god's wrath to the maximum and wait for my command. The moment I release you, attack the palace below with the power of thunder. He started to secretly activate his power. This time, he still needed the Zhu Emperor to take the lead. Without the Zhu Emperor and the demon god's wrath, Su Feng and Li Haojie almost lost the confidence to suppress the old monster. 9 segments Earth Dragon. Activate your power too. When the time comes, you don't have to think about killing the old monster. Just think of a way to delay it. Fortunately, he had 2 peerless big goblin in his hands. The Zhu Emperor had a peerless Dao artifact. The power of a single attack could destroy the heavens and earth. Even Heartless Grandma could resist it. The 9 segments Earth Dragon was an old monster that had cultivated for tens of thousands of years. It was highly poisonous and had a body that was extremely tough. Chi-Chi, not long after, as Su Feng floated above the palace, the Zhu Emperor in his body also ignited its demonic aura. It opened its mouth and spat out the demon god's wrath. Chapter 615. Sensing the demon god's wrath. Su Feng also formed a seal at this moment. A demon shadow surged out from the 10,000-layer seal technique. Zhu Huang. He rushed out from the seal technique, regaining his freedom from shackles. He opened his mouth once again, and with a swoosh, the demon god's wrath swept toward the palace below like lightning. A whip in the air. Chi-Chi. The demon god's wrath was indeed a Dao artifact, and it was even an inherited treasure from the Zhu Huang. Its power was displayed to the extreme. In the blink of an eye, it tore apart the cold air in the air. With a bang, it blasted onto the immortal toad's palace. Boom, boom, boom. The palace was blasted until it was like a driftwood floating on the surface of the water, shaking nonstop. The defensive barrier cracked as the demon god's wrath struck the palace, slicing it apart. The entire palace exploded like a watermelon. The explosive aura caused the entire Toad Mountain to shake violently, as though it was about to shatter. Bang! In the depths of the broken palace, the demon god's wrath's divine might actually solidified. Zhu Huang controlled the terrifying demon god's wrath and roared evilly. Immortal Toad, as expected of one of the strongest demons in the Zhuotian world, to actually be able to contend against the demon god's wrath. Su Feng looked at the broken palace in shock. The fragments and dust dissipated. The demon god's wrath was pressing down on the barrier. The barrier was extremely sturdy. A large hand was propping up the barrier. Below that hand was a white-haired old man. His large feet were tightly stuck to the rock. The old man supported the barrier with one hand, cooperating with the barrier to block the demon god's wrath. His blood-red eyes were terrifying. You actually dare to kill your way into this immortal's dojo, a big goblin and a human. Zhu Huang, there's no need to be courteous with him. Take out whatever you are good at. Yes, master. Zhu Huang took a step back. With a swoosh, the demon god's wrath swept up from the barrier. The demon god's wrath made a turn in midair. Following Zhu Huang's transformation, the demon god's wrath was controlled by his demonic energy. Like a long whip, it struck the barrier above Immortal Toad. This time, the Immortal Toad Elder didn't just stand there and endure the attack of the Dao artifact. He suddenly leaped, and his speed reached the level of teleportation, dodging the attack of the demon god's wrath. Immortal Toad Elder Bai Yang moved, and his demonic aura surged out layer by layer. You are the legendary Pig Horse King, an ancient mutated beast. The Vermilion Emperor coldly shouted, Little Toad, you still remember this king's origin. Then, you should surrender and become this king's right-hand man. You will benefit greatly in the future. You are a mutated beast, and your status in the demon clan is indeed noble. However, don't forget that your strength is only at an ordinary level. I am in existence that is close to the level of a demon immortal. I'm sorry, but I have to kill you this time. I'm afraid not many ordinary big goblin can kill a mutated beast. Toad is too naive. It's true that I'm a toad, but what about you? You call yourself the Pig Horse King, but you're still a pig, an ancient mutated fat pig. Damn it, I'm going to tear you into a meat patty. You're just a little toad who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. You've lived for tens of thousands of years. Who do you think you are? Whoosh. Immortal Toad Elder was a powerful giant demon. Although the Pig Horse King was not his opponent, in the demon clan, status and bloodline determined everything. In the future, the Pig Horse King would definitely be the most powerful demon immortal. As for the immortal Toad Elder, he would be like this for the rest of his life. The wrath of the demon god was like a whirlwind that swept away the clouds. The whip's circles slashed out layer by layer, as if it wanted to trap the immortal Toad Elder. Instant space ring, edgeless heavy sword. It was time for Su Fong to make his move. While the Pig Horse King was using the wrath of the demon god to entangle the immortal Toad Elder, he wanted to use a sneak attack. The Een Underworld chi in his body exploded. Immortal Toad's foot trembled as he used a minor teleportation technique to evade the demon god's wrath. Toad energy art, he said. When the immortal Toad Elder opened his mouth, a bubble of blood-colored demonic chi hit the wrath of the demon god in front of him. Boom! This bubble was able to directly contend with the wrath of the demon god. It even blocked part of the Tao artifact, allowing the immortal Toad Elder to pass through part of the Tao artifact. Seeing this, the Vermilion Emperor's eyes narrowed. He knew how powerful the immortal Toad Elder was. He was still so calm and tyrannical in the face of a Tao artifact. Whoosh! Little did he know, just when the immortal Toad Elder was feeling proud and wanted to personally pass through the wrath of the demon god to kill the Vermilion Emperor, a sword chi hit his defense halfway and sent him flying back several feet. The immortal Toad Elder stared at Su Fong for a moment. You're only at the 3rd level of the Calamity Realm. Coupled with a royal-grade magic artifact, you actually have such divine power. Great King, the battle above the square was intense. Hundreds of big goblin appeared from the cave inside the Toad Mountain. Almost all of them had the strength of the heavenly snow lion. Some were even stronger than the heavenly snow lion. They came at the right time. The immortal Toad Elder sneered proudly. It could be seen that he was thinking this in his heart. So many big goblin. Su Fong was mentally prepared, but he still couldn't help it. Master, you have to think of a way. This way, we won't be able to handle it. The two trants were like radishes. At this moment, under Su Fong's control, a large number of terrifying branches grew out from their bodies. They intertwined in midair to form a huge net of branches, blocking the hundreds of big goblin. The Heavenly Gore Domain is originally a land of heavenly immortals. The energy is complicated. I don't have to worry about anything else. Watch how I deal with you big goblin and make you all my little commanders. Rakshasa Jade Vase. Release the 5 poison true chi. Release as much as you can. I must shackle the big goblin in the space above. Whoosh. With a thought, the Rakshasa Jade Vase from the 5 poison divine sect passed through the branches and rolled up into the sky. It grew to a size of several hundred feet and immediately spewed out 5 poison true chi. True demon blood plate suppressed the primordial spirits. Opening his eyes, a black and red plate shot out from his eyes into the sky where the 5 poison true chi exploded. The true demon blood plate suddenly grew to a size of several hundred feet. It hovered in midair and began to rotate slowly. With so many Dharma treasures, I can finally use them to my heart's content. This is my true strength. After ordering the 2 tree demons to block the big goblin from entering the lower space, Su Fong flashed into the sky under the protection of the teleportation talisman. He quietly arrived at the top of most of the demons. About 200 big goblins were attacking below. They probably thought that this was their territory. They did not care about the 5 poison true chi and the true demon blood plate at all. In addition, they had the advantage in numbers. Why would they be afraid of 2 Dharma treasures? They swarmed into the 5 poison true chi. When the Rakshasa jade vase attacked, countless 5 poison monsters began to condense and surround the big goblin. The Rakshasa jade vase was one of the most powerful treasures of the 5 poison divine sect in the past. It could not be compared to the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda, but it was still a peerless treasure in the small world, especially since it was a poisonous weapon. At this moment, the true demon blood plate also spun faster. Waves of primordial spirit shackles from the demonic Tao swept into the 5 poison army and shot toward the 200 big goblins. The big goblin was also powerful. It released its demonic chi to resist the 5 poison true chi. A few big goblins were still able to fight their way out, but when they encountered the shackles of the true demon blood plate, they felt infinite terror. How terrifying was the true demon blood plate? The power released caused the big goblins' primordial spirits to tremble. They were on the verge of burning and collapsing. This was the divine power released by the true demon blood plate. Its power was also terrifying. Most importantly, its attack was invisible. The big goblin was unable to defend against it. If 2 Dharma treasures can't subdue the powerful big goblin, then I'll add the fire 8 origin soul elephant formation. When the Su Fong, who was hidden above, saw that some big goblin could still break free from the 5 poison army, it took out another peerless move. Fortunately, the 5 poison true chi was highly toxic and could restrain the demonic poison. Otherwise, a single royal Grey Dharma artifact would not be able to stop so many big goblin. One by one, runes of the formation descended upon the 5 poison army. As it grabbed with both hands, an oval-shaped barrier suddenly enveloped all the 5 poison true chi. 8 origin soul elephant formation. 8 origin transformation. Many layers of barriers began to transform inside. At the same time, the true demon blood plate directly arrived above the formation. It spun and projected the power of the primordial spirit shackles. Together with the formation, it shot toward every big goblin. At this moment, the difference between humans and demonic Tao could be seen. If more than 200 human experts were trapped, they would activate their Dharma treasures and divine abilities. They would be able to shake off the 5 poison true chi first. Moreover, the power of their Dharma treasures would be able to contend with the Rakshasa jade bottle. However, the big goblin was different. Divine abilities were its biggest weakness. Without divine abilities, Dharma treasures would not be of much use. They could only let the Dharma treasures attack directly. This kind of attack could be blocked by the 5 poison army. Moreover, not every big goblin had a powerful Dharma treasure. Fire God Elephant. The Su Fong appeared. Its eyes burned and formed a pagoda door in front of it. When the pagoda door opened, a burning fire god elephant suddenly charged out of the 8 origin soul elephant formation. Its long trunk wrapped around a big goblin. It swung its trunk and threw the big goblin into the pagoda door. Chapter 6:16. Whoosh whoosh, such a big goblin was attacked by the 5 poisons genuine chi and was suppressed by the true demon blood plate. In the end, it was easily suppressed by the fire god elephant. It was directly thrown into the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. Another small commander was suppressed. Seeing that there were too many big goblins, Su Fong also threw the remaining fire crystal golems into the formation. 13 fire crystal golems worked together with the 8 elements transformation. Together with the fire god elephant that had reached the royal grade, the power of the 8 elements spiritual elephant formation was close to the level of the spirit grandmaster. 8 elements returned to 1 limitless spiritual elephant. Under the attack of the 2 treasures, the big goblin that was trapped were like ants on a hot pan. Any big goblin's talent could not be used. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Outside the 8 elements spiritual elephant formation, 8 Xianguang suddenly rushed out of the barrier. Strangely, 8 fire god elephants also appeared around the 8 Xianguang. Almost at the same time, the fire god elephant swung its long trunk and rolled out 8 dispirited big goblin and then easily threw them into the pagoda door. 8 small commanders were suppressed at once. The power of the 8 elements' spiritual elephant formation was extraordinary. In addition, the quality of the fire god elephant and the fire crystal golems had reached the royal grade. This set of formation could suppress any powerhouse below the elder level, except for powerhouses like the Grand Elder. And no matter how powerful these big goblin were, it was difficult for their strength to reach the elder level. Therefore, with the cooperation of the 2 treasures, it was only a matter of time before these big goblin were suppressed. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Just a dozen breaths later, the 8 elements' spiritual elephant formation appeared again. The fire god elephant rolled out the shackled 8 big goblin and threw them into the pagoda door. In a short time, he had obtained 16 small commanders. It was really shocking. Su Fong was brimming with confidence. Immortal Toad, old man, the great demons under your command will all become small commanders under my control soon. Every time I suppress one, my strength will grow by a bit. Just wait and see how I deal with you soon. And below, boom, boom, boom. The square was filled with a destructive aura. 3 big goblin fought together. It was earth-shattering, shaking the entire Toad Mountain. It was constantly collapsing in landslides. The Vermilion Emperor used the wrath of the demon god to attack from a distance. Although the 9-segment Earth Dragon did not have a Tao artifact, its strength was not much different from the Immortal Toad. Furthermore, it had its own innate poison, which allowed it to attack from a distance or close range. You don't know the difference between life and death. It doesn't matter if I don't have a few of you. Gate seal. As expected, there were still big goblins that were not obedient. Of course, they were all following the celestial toad, old man. He was the symbol of invincibility. There would always be big goblin that would not give up so easily. Moreover, there were also some who were loyal to the celestial toad, old man. Obviously, these big goblin were like that. Su Fong naturally would not be polite to them. When they attacked, a huge pagoda gate directly condensed above them. The big goblin did not move. They were completely under the control of the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. Boom! The pagoda gate violently smashed on their bodies. Suddenly, the big goblin turned into meat paste. A few spiritual pearls rolled out. Su Fong did not hesitate and absorbed the spiritual pearls into his origin golden core and immediately began to devour them. Then, he rewarded all the flesh and blood to the other small commanders. Who else is unwilling? Su Fong killed the big goblin without batting an eyelid. Boom! All the big goblin knelt down. Su Fong immediately activated the dark underworld chi in the true demon blood plate, turning them into energy seeds and implanting them in their minds. After imprisoning their primordial spirits, all the big goblin became his small commanders. After counting again, he had suppressed 121 big goblin that belonged to the celestial toad, old man. In addition to the few that he had suppressed before, there were also the original 93 small commanders. The Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda had a total of 218 small commanders. It was twice as many as before. However, compared to the 100,000 small commanders, it was still a far cry. There are still some big goblin left. Su Fong suppressed a few more big goblins. After waiting for half a day, Shu Shuai and Dao Wuyang also arrived at the old Immortal's Cave Palace. Therefore, he began to use the powerful Blood Hell Wolf Smoke from the Night Spirit sect. After Su Fong cultivated the Blood Hell Wolf Smoke, it formed a shocking special power. When it was used, a large amount of blood-red poisonous smoke rolled into the sky above the entrance of Toad Mountain. After a while, Dao Wuyang and Shu Shuai charged in. Su Fong used his divine ability and lured the two into another formation. Kill! The big goblin that chased and did not care about anything. They probably thought that this was their nest and became even more unrestrained. They charged in like a flood, and what awaited them was the Blood Hell Wolf Smoke. The blood hell wolf smoke gathered above the 8-origin soul elephant formation. The big goblins did not know what was going on and accidentally entered the blood hell wolf smoke. They were immediately suppressed by Su Fong and created a passage in the air that was free of poison. In fact, this passage led to the 8-origin soul elephant formation. The big goblins did not know what was going on and lost their minds. They also turned into their original demon forms. They were also afraid of the blood hell wolf smoke. Although the big goblin also had poison, the night spirit sect's blood poison was clearly stronger. No one knew where the night spirit sect came from. Su Fong did not have much of an advantage over them, especially when Dao Zhun's mother discovered that the night spirit sect's experts had the power of immortality. Even the undying realm cultivators did not have the power of immortality. The blood hell wolf smoke came from the night spirit sect, so its power was naturally extraordinary. The big goblin could not get rid of the blood poison. They were painfully corroded by the blood poison and flew in the direction where there was no blood poison. In the end, Su Fong deliberately lured them into the 8-origin soul elephant formation. Su Fong saw that there was still an endless stream of big goblins charging in and into the blood hell wolf smoke. He was overjoyed. He also welcomed Dao Wuyang and Shu Shuai to his side. It's not easy for you guys to be chased by 600 to 700 powerful big goblins. I have speed and illusion, and Shu Shuai has the ability to drill underground. These big goblins are strong, but they don't have any innate abilities. Dao Wuyang was so tired that he was panting. Shu Shuai was also very tired. He raised his pride. If the great demons of the demon race all have innate abilities, then this Zhuotian realm, who knows how many totem mortals there are, would not be the territory of humans. Master, you have to be careful of this sky drill rat. That fox was polite to you, but this Shu Shuai always has a sense of hostility toward humans. Within Su Fong's divine aperture, Yuer suddenly reminded him. He is the grandson of the Sky Drill Rat Emperor, one of the only Sky Drill rats in the Zhuotian realm. But so what? If Shu Shuai doesn't know what's good for him and wants to provoke Dao Wuyang, then I will suppress him. Dao Wuyang has followed me all the way from Zhao. In my eyes, he is a friend, but he is a demon after all. Even if he has human nature, I am worried that he will betray me after being provoked by Shu Shuai. But it's fine. With their strength, they can no longer threaten me. With the Sky Drill Rat's ability to burrow underground and my current Earth Elemental abilities, he can't be arrogant. In reality, Su Fong was also on guard. He didn't want to think about this for now. He used all his strength to lure the big goblin into the 8-origin soul elephant formation. The big goblin was first corroded by the blood hell wolf smoke and was poisoned by the blood poison. Then, it was trapped in the 8-origin soul elephant formation and was attacked by the 5 poisons true qi. It was also suppressed by the true demon blood plate. Its demon body and primordial spirit suffered unimaginable damage. It's about time. There are only 100 big goblin left outside. I can't do anything about them. Su Fong flashed and arrived above the 8-origin soul elephant formation. 8 Xian Guang rushed out. The 8 fire god elephants wrapped the 8 big goblin with their trunks and threw them into the pagoda door. Immortal Toad is really impressive. The Pig Horse King is even more terrifying than the legends. And that 9-segment Earth Dragon. My grandfather was right. That 9-segment Earth Dragon is really a poisonous monster. What a terrifying poisonous gas. Dao Wuyang and Shu Shuai were resting. They were secretly observing the battle of the 3 giant demons. Actually, I came here this time to fulfill my grandfather's words. If Su Fong really wants to deal with Immortal Toad, then you and I will do our best to help him. Shu Shuai secretly communicated with Dao Wuyang. Seeing Immortal Toad being surrounded and killed, he was very proud. There are not many big goblin in the Zhuotian boundary that can compare to Immortal Toad. After killing him, our demon race will be able to expand our influence to the Tian Gourd boundary. In the future, our demon race will be the kings of the demon race in the Zhuotian boundary. This Shuatian boundary might even belong to our demon race in the future. One step at a time, Dao Wu Liang said. It's time for us foxes to leave the southern border and find a better place. When the time comes, we'll destroy the celestial sealing sect. The two of them continued to watch the battle. A full 3 days passed. The 3 giant demons below had also been fighting for 3 days. Su Fang was the one who had won the battle. Under his many methods, he managed to suppress the hundreds of big goblin in the hands of a mortal toad. In addition to the previous 93 small commanders, there were now 918 small commanders. 918 small commanders. How much spiritual power could Su Fang increase? How much could he use his innate godly aura? He also used Blood Hell Wolf smoke to block the entrance of Toad Mountain. He started to plant imprints on the big goblin. Dao Wuyang and Shu Shuai were already rubbing their palms, ready to deal with a mortal toad. When the two fused together, it formed a terrifying assassination. In addition, Su Fang's current strength was already at the same level as Old Toad Immortal. The moment Old Toad Immortal forced the 9 sections Earth Dragon away, the edgeless heavy sword slashed down from the sky. Old Toad Immortal's speed was also shocking. The attack was a king-grade treasure, which shocked him. When he tried to dodge, he found that his speed was about the same as the edgeless sword attack. In other words, he didn't have an absolute advantage in speed and couldn't completely dodge the edgeless sword. Pung! The edgeless heavy sword hit his left shoulder. If it wasn't for his talent, this sword should have slashed on his head. Ta. If it was an elder like Yuan Tianzong, Jian Zhangkong, or Zhang Suning, this sword was enough to take their lives. But Old Toad Immortal's skin only broke a little, and some blood oozed out. He took advantage of the momentum and stepped on the edgeless sword. The power of his giant feet made the edgeless sword lose its luster. Demon. Su Fang was deeply shocked. Not only did he not cut off Old Toad Immortal's left arm, his giant feet and the strength of his demon body could even overcome the edgeless sword. This was the strength of a giant demon standing in a small world. Fortunately, Old Toad Immortal was good at fighting. If it was a human giant, Su Fang would have a hard time dealing with it. Pada, the power of a Dao artifact, turned into a flaming whip to hunt its prey. It was a terrifying attack. It was too sinister, as if it had been waiting for such a good opportunity. The wrath of the demon god was like a long snake strangling, hitting Old Toad Immortal, who lost his balance. It was a Dao artifact, but this whip made Old Toad Immortal's back burst into a bloody mist. Damn it, he was continuously injured. First, it was Su Fang's sword with all his strength. Now that he was hit by the wrath of the demon god, this was the first time Old Toad Immortal was angry. Even when his Dao field was destroyed, he wasn't this angry. Russell, without giving Old Toad Immortal a chance to breathe, the 9-section Earth Dragon continued to attack. His arms collided with Old Toad Immortal's palms. They were both giant demons, and no one could do anything to the other. It was just that the Vermilion Emperor's attack was gloomy once again. At this moment, Su Fang also used his speed again, slashing out the edgeless sword. The Vermilion Emperor's wrath of the demon god once again slashed towards Old Toad Immortal. Void Evasion Technique, a 3-way encirclement. Old Toad Immortal seemed to be injured again. Who knew that he suddenly stomped his feet, and with an indescribable speed, he only left an afterimage and dodged the 3 attacks. However, his afterimage was also crushed by the attacks of the 3. On the other side, Old Toad Immortal's image appeared. It has been 10,000 years, but this old immortal has never used his true body. I never thought that today, I would be forced into such a situation. True body? All right, true body against true body. The Vermilion Emperor and the 9-section Earth Dragon both looked over. When they saw Old Toad Immortal's afterimage, they realized that it was extremely huge. Its entire body was a giant toad that was dozens of meters tall. The two big goblin also immediately used their true bodies, the Pig Horse King and the 9-section Earth Dragon. Su Fong was paying attention to Old Toad Immortal's actions when he suddenly heard Yu Er's voice. Master, Old Toad Immortal seems to be preparing a Tao artifact. Dodge! When he heard that, he immediately shouted towards the Pig Horse King and the 9-section Earth Dragon. So the three of them immediately dodged. Bang! A black sword light came from Old Toad Immortal's direction, piercing towards the three of them without any warning. Fortunately, the three of them managed to dodge in time. Otherwise, such a silent Tao artifact attack would have taken someone's life. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.